warm and sunny afternoon here at the Big A as the Angels and the New York Yankees get set to wrap up this three-game series at Angel Stadium. Happy to have you with us, everybody. Rory Marcus along with Mark Gubazza. Again, it could be a big day for the Angels. If they win and the Rangers lose, the Angels could clinch the division today.
Yeah, Rory, that's what it's all about right now. We could talk stats, numbers about everybody in this lineup, but the bottom line is you win this game, Texas loses, you win another division. 16.5 game lead, that magic number down to 2. Kevin Millwood's certainly been pitching great for the Rangers, but it's up to the Angels right now to take care of their own business. Play well today. If they do that with a little different lineup they're throwing at the Yankees, then all of a sudden we can have that celebration at some point today.
Right. If not, it goes on to tomorrow, and tomorrow the Angels open up a series with the Mariners. Now, pitching today, Dustin Mosley. He has a chance to become an Angel pitcher who clinched a division.
Well, that's got to be a motivation for him right now. We talked about the importance of him being able to have the confidence to go out there and work that fastball. Look at all the different names that has been the guy to clinch the division for the Angels, and he would add his name in there. So that motivation alone and the opportunity to have your name down as one of the all-time Angels as far as getting into the postseason, why not pitch your best game? That's what he looked forward to today.
Dustin Mosley and Andy Pettitte, the Angels and the Yankees, coming up next. It's a beautiful afternoon for baseball. The Angels also trying to win this series. If they get today's game, they'll get 2 out of 3. Baseball coming up next. FSN West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by Howard's, your HD flat screen superstore, and by your Southern California Ford dealers. See what's new at scforddealers.com. Back at Angel Stadium, it's the Angels and the Yankees today, wrapping up this three-game series. It's a beautiful afternoon for baseball, day baseball on a Wednesday afternoon, being presented in HD by LG. Got it, Gooby?
I got it. A lot of numbers, but I'm ready. In letters.
Take a look at the Yankees lineup for today's ball game. Johnny Damon hit 2 home runs last night. He leads off. A-Rod has 62 home runs in his career against the Angels. He's batting cleanup. Jeter and Abreu 2 and 3. Then Giambi, Nady, Matsui, Cano, and former Angel Jose Molina doing the catching.
Very dangerous lineup that Dustin Mosley's going to be able to face here. And 1-4 record, high ERA, it's 7.9. Big thing for Dustin. He's got to keep that fastball down, work aggressively with it. He can get it up there 91, 92. He's got a good curveball, slider, and a changeup. But the thing for him today, confidence, the most important thing.
Take a look at the Angels' Rico defense. Kendry Morales is getting a start today at first base. It's a little bit of a different look. Teixeira's not in there. It's Anderson, Matthews, and Rivera in the outfield, with Quinlan playing third, Brandon Wood, Sean Rodriguez, and the battery of Napoli and Mosley. And there's Kendry Morales getting the start at first base. No Teixeira, no Figgins, no Torrey Hunter, who is serving a 2-game suspension. And the first batter of the game is Johnny Damon. The first pitch of the game is strike 1 from Dustin Mosley.
And Mark Teixeira a little under the weather, so he's given the day off today by Mike Scioscia. Yeah, you're right. A little different lineup, a little different defense for the Halos.
And the first one is hit down to Morales. He steps on the bag, 1 out. You talked about Dustin Mosley needing to pitch with confidence, but how do you get the confidence when your ERA is 7.9?
Well, the big thing is get those early pitch outs. You know, you get a couple ground balls, the confidence starts to breathe from that point on. You know, you got to through that fastball. He's thrown a couple good all-speed pitches early on here, and definitely the Yankees love to hit the fastball like most teams, but get ahead, work down, above all, attack the strike zone.
Derek Jeter steps in. 296 with 10 homers and 67 runs batted in. Fastball up high. Mosley got only 4 outs in his last outing against the White Sox. Came out of that ball game after an inning into third. (2-0) to Derek Jeter. The New York Yankees not destined for the playoffs this year. They are in 4th place in the American League East. 10 games behind Tampa Bay. It's unusual for the Yanks, obviously, to not be in the playoffs. 13 consecutive years they've been there. Ball 4 to Derek Jeter. Mosley walked him on 4 pitches.
It's amazing when you think 13 straight years the Yankees have made the playoffs. Before that, though, they had a dry spell of 12 years without making it. Joe Girardi been given the vote of confidence by Hank Steinbrenner. That was not his fault. It was the fact that they had a lot of injuries to deal with and not a lot of production out of that young pitching staff.
They really did have the injuries, and they have started 13 different starting pitchers, which is going to keep them from tying the Atlanta Braves for the most consecutive playoff appearances. Bobby Abreu at the plate. There goes Jeter. The pitch is taken. The throw by Napoli will not be in time. Derek Jeter running on the first pitch, swipes it.
Not much of a chance for Mike Napoli on this one, too, and Derek Jeter, pretty good jump. Dustin Mosley pretty slow to the plate because being tall. Jeter gets his 11th stolen base. Also a tough pitch to be able to catch and throw for Mike Napoli behind the plate.
1-0 to Abreu. Now you talked about Mosley needing to throw strikes, get ahead, get a fast start in this game. He's now missed on 6 straight pitches.
Corey, a lot of times, and I've been that route before, where you have a tough stretch where you're not getting outs and you're losing games. You try to hit the outside corner. You got to have that mindset of trusting the movement on the fastball. And what I mean by that, throw the ball middle part of the plate. Mike Scioscia knows this better than anybody, being a catcher, that you throw the middle part and trust the movement will get to the corners. Otherwise, when you start on the corner, it's going to run off in a ball, and they're not going to swing at it because this Yankee club's patient. Mike Butcher's worked with him and talked to him about having the belief that his stuff is good.
They're not going to chase bad pitches, this team.
No, very patient.
Napoli just went out there. Might he have said something like, hey, just throw it down the middle? I mean, does a catcher say that?
Definitely. And again, throw it down the middle, believe the movement will get you a few outs.
There's ball 4, and he's not close right now. Mike Butcher's going to go out and talk to him. Back-to-back walks on 8 pitches. And that's a little unnerving for Scioscia and Butcher, and for Mosley, no doubt, hoping that he might get a good outing going here. And Dustin looks upset.
Yeah, last time Mike Scioscia ran out to him in Chicago and said, listen, your stuff's there. Every once in a while, your manager will run out there just to firmly tell you to go challenge the hitters.
You know, 90% of the time it's the pitching coach, but if you're out there on the mound and here comes the manager and you know he's not taking you out, you kind of think, uh-oh.
Yeah, you do, but right now, and his mindset is thinking, I'm not making quality pitches. I got a patient team. I'm looking up, I see these names on bubblegum cards and all kinds of highlights. These are great players. Give them too much credit. You can't give a hitter credit, because if you make a good pitch, you're going to get out the best of hitters.
Well, there's Jeter. He faced him and walked him. Abreu's at first. A-Rod at the plate. A-Rod hit a 3-run home run in last night's game. And a strike into Alex Rodriguez. So that breaks the string of 8 straight out of the strike zone. Alex hitting .310, 33 home runs. He's driven in 95 runs. And Mosley gets ahead 0-2. After the visit from Butcher, he throws a couple of strikes in a row.
And also, there's no doubt Mike Butcher went out and said, hey, listen, you got 7 guys behind you playing defense. We're a solid defensive team. Let them make the plays. You don't have to get everybody out yourself. That's why you have fielders behind you.
0-2 to Alex Rodriguez. A little bit inside with that one. Jason Giambi will be next for Mosley, unless he can get a double play ball right here and get out of it. It's a tough lineup to face. Oh, and that one was up and in on A-Rod. I don't know if he meant it as a purpose pitch, but it ended up that way.
Let's see, it was a changeup that he overthrew. That's what happened to him, and dropped his wrist just a little bit. That's going to happen on a changeup. If you drop your elbow and your wrist a little bit, it's going to have that action where it rides up in the zone. Again, it's still not a bad thing to ever make a batter move his feet.
2 balls, 2 strikes. A-Rod fouls that one off. A-Rod had that tremendous at-bat yesterday against Santana where he saw 13 pitches and then finally got a hit. A game can turn on an at-bat like that.
Mike Scioscia talked about that, saying what an amazing at-bat it was for A-Rod. Everyone in that dugout and the on-deck circle sees how many pitches and the different pitches that Irvin Santana had.
And he strikes him out with the breaking ball. Dustin Mosley bounces back to strike out A-Rod. And now there are 2 out with 2 on. And Jason Giambi at the plate.
Good breaking pitch there for Mosley. He has a very good one. On top of that curveball there, Jaguar Exmo, 12-6 variety. It's A-Rod way out in front. See that little up and in pitch. Moved his feet, and all of a sudden you expand that strike zone against him.
Here's Jason Giambi. He takes ball 1 inside. Ed Hickox is the home plate umpire today. Giambi's batting average under 250, but he's hitting for power. Two and 0. So Mosley falling behind again now. It's been a roller coaster inning for Dustin Mosley. 18 pitches, only 6 strikes. There's one. The Yankees in this series 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position, which is a good .308. Now 3-1.
Well, you don't want to get into certain situations where you're forced to throw a fastball against a team like the Yankees in a day game here at the Big A. It's a dangerous situation to be in.
Xavier Nady is on deck. Giambi hits one over the bag and down the line into right field. Jeter jogs home. Abreu into third base. And the Yankees break on top 1-0. Jason Giambi settles for a single on that, but he drives in the run.
You can see how quick the bat was because he's assuming a fastball is coming in that spot, and he was able to get on top of that fastball and hit it right down the line. Sit so hard it hugged down the line all the way off his bat. Kenny Morales, not much of a chance against the ball hit that hard.
Xavier Nady steps in, hitting .286. As a Yankee anyway, .314 overall. One and 0 to Nady. Mosley's given the Angels some good innings over the last couple of years, but lately he's really had to fight it. One ball, 1 strike to Nady. Two on, 2 out in the top of the first inning. A run in for the Yanks. Mosley turned and he was going to go to first, but there was nobody there, so he has balked in a run. Dustin looked over at first, was going to throw there, but Morales was playing behind the bag.
Yeah, Morales, the first baseman has to be on the base. When you make that throw, you have to throw. So he went back on there as soon as he was ready to deliver the baseball. A lot of times as a pitcher, you get in your mindset you're going to throw over, not even looking over. And that's what happened to Dustin Mosley there.
So it's 2-0 Yankees. And they have Giambi at second base. 2-1 to Nady, and it's a tough first inning for Dustin Mosley. Curveball fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's the kind of thing, though, Gooby, you'll beat yourself up for, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's just a mental mistake. And in that spot, you know, there's communication between you and the first baseman saying, I'm going to play behind him. Giambi's not going to steal a whole lot of bases in that spot. So he's playing behind to play more defensive mode, and you just got to get your mindset back on the fact you're not going to throw over.
He strikes out Nady with a good breaking ball, so a couple of nice strikeouts, but 2 runs score for the Yankees in the top of the first. It's 2-0 Yankees. They got those 2 runs on only 1 hit. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. The Angels have Gary Matthews in the leadoff spot today. And Andy Pettitte on the mound for the Yankees. Delivers strike 1 to Matthews. Gary hitting .236. One ball, 1 strike to Matthews.
Andy Pettitte's still one of the best left-handers in the game. Fastball, 87-91. His best pitch, you just saw that, was the cut fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Popped up right side of the infield. Robbie Cano makes the catch. Well, you know, Matthews is leading off. Let's see the rest of the Angel lineup today. It's a little different today. Garrett Anderson needs 1 more game to have 2,000 in his Angel career. Vladdy's DHing and hitting third. Juan Rivera is in the cleanup spot. Then Kendry Morales, Rob Quinlan, Mike Napoli, and it's Wood and Rodriguez at the bottom.
A lot of decisions out of Andy Pettitte. 13-12 ERA, just under 4.5. 214 career wins. Been very good. One of the best pickoff moves in the game also.
Garrett Anderson takes ball 1. Garrett had 3 hits in last night's game. And there's a base hit for Garrett right here in today's game. Into the corner it goes as Abreu goes after it. Garrett Anderson, a 1-out double.
It's really amazing what he has done against Andy Pettitte throughout his career. Before that, about a .390 hitter with 3 home runs. Lefties are only hitting .201 against Andy Pettitte again this year, but he stays back, does a good job of keeping his hips tucked in there, and hits a good shot to right field. .397 now with that double.
And it's not like he has 10 at-bats. I mean, that's a lot of at-bats to dominate a pitcher as good as Pettitte.
Pettitte, one of the best sliders, too. It's amazing what GA's done against him.
Vlad Guerrero up there now. Fouls the first pitch back. The Yankees have been good in day games this year. They are 31-20. The most daytime wins in the American League, the New York Yankees.
Well, that's 51 games they played in a day. It's a lot.
It is, isn't it? 0-1 to Guerrero. And Vladdy pops it up foul, first base side. Giambi, he can't quite get there. 0-2 to Vlad Guerrero. Vladdy is ever closer to 300 once again. He's now at 298 as he starts this game. One ball, 2 strikes to Vladdy. And that got him, but it gets away from Jose Molina. Vlad will reach first base safely as Anderson goes to third. A strikeout and a wild pitch. A break for the Angels.
It's that sharp breaking ball by Andy Pettit against Vlad on the outside part of the plate. The backdoor slider. And Jose Molina stabbed that instead of turning his glove the other way and keep it in front of him. Gets away, and Vlad gets over the first base, and GA goes to third. Catcher wants to be able to square his glove up, square his body up, especially on a breaking pitch because it will spin differently off the dirt.
So runners on the corners for the Angels with one out. And the batter now, Juan Rivera. Garrett Anderson at third, Vladdy at first base. Juan Rivera, .233 with 11 home runs. He's driven in 41. Ground ball in the hole at shortstop. Jeter flips to second, and they get the force play there. Anderson scores on the ground ball, and it's 2-1 Yankees. An RBI for Rivera.
The play looked like it was in slow motion for the Yankees. Called at the end of the bat, Juan Rivera. Jeter backhands it, makes the throw over to Cano, trying to be able to make sure he kept his foot on the bag. Almost acting as if he's a first baseman, stretching just to get that one out. Makes the play. Juan Rivera does get the RBI also.
So Juan's at first base with 2 outs, and Kendry Morales at the plate for the Angels. Takes strike one. Kendry's 3 for 16 in an Angel uniform this year.
Andy Pettit does such a good job of pitching east to west. Pitches inside to the righty, then he'll sink that fastball to the outside part of the plate. Very rarely does he throw a pitch in the middle part of the plate against a batter.
Over to first base, and Rivera gets back in there. I don't think that was the A move. Just a little show me move over there.
He's got one of the best. Compare him to one of the all-time greats, and Steve Carlton, as far as that great move, borderline a balk move, negating the running game.
Strike 2 to Kendry Morales. Andy Pettit's right up there with Langston and Kenny Rogers. Not quite catching Kenny yet.
It's pretty amazing company, though. Mark Langston had an unbelievable move to first base.
Rivera got back in there a little bit awkwardly.
That was one of his good moves there. That had Juan Rivera barely getting back. See the close foot, and then all of a sudden it's real close. You're supposed to, once you cross the pitching rubber as a pitcher, left-handed pitcher, you have to go home. That was extremely close.
Still a ball and 2 strikes to Kendry Morales. The Yankees got 2 runs at the top of the first inning. The Angels have scored once here in the bottom of the first. The Yankees are going through a stretch where they're playing 10 games in a row against first place teams. The Angels, Tampa Bay, and the White Sox. Two balls, 2 strikes to Kendry Morales. Slowly to shortstop. Jeter charges it and gets it there in time to retire the side. The Angels get 1, and after 1 inning, it's 2-1 Yankees. This was Monday night. On this play at the plate, Torrey Hunter with a soft collision, I guess you'd call it, with Pudge Rodriguez. Torrey slips over the bat, a little shove, and then a big shove. And that emptied both benches. Both players, Pudge Rodriguez and Torrey Hunter, were suspended for 2 games and fined. John Lackey, who was very quick to get into that melee, was also fined. Both are serving their suspensions today. And there's Pudge Rodriguez. That's the box of Scott Boras. Pudge is enjoying the ball game from there.
Might have been seeing the highlights of that play, smiling. No, Scott Boras has a lot of TVs in that booth. Or box, I should say, down there.
Hideki Matsui takes strike 1. Hitting .301. Mosley trying to have a little bit calmer second inning than the first.
That's a pretty good pitch, too. He's not getting that inside corner by Ed Hickox at all. It's a lot of that plate early on, but both players are not appealing their suspension, so Torrey Hunter and Pudge Rodriguez are going to serve him, get rid of the 2 games. Not a bad idea for Torrey Hunter to rest that quad anyhow. He came out of the game last night.
I don't think it would have done much good to appeal those suspensions.
No, you're not going to win out on that one.
What are you going to say? I didn't do it?
And they're good friends, too. Just, yeah. He said they get a little heated. But Torrey also stumbled over that bat that was left by home plate. So that was part of the reason why there was a little more contact than normal.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Besides, Torrey was hanging out with Ludacris earlier today here at the stadium before he had to leave.
That'll keep you level-headed.
Yes.
2-2 to Matsui, who hits a fly ball into center field. It's hit well. Matthews gets to the warning track and makes the catch. Right up against the 400-foot sign. A long fly ball out by Matsui.
It's a nice job by Gary Matthews Jr. timing this. The ball was hit well. Put off the end of the bat, but he got himself in position, got the warning track, got back to the wall. Nice play by Gary Matthews Jr. Who knows a thing or two about bringing back a home run. Pretty close to it, but good play. And Dustin Mosley said, "Thank you for picking me up."
Needed that out. 1 out, and Robbie Cano stepping in for the Yankees. Cano hitting .262, which is way below what they expected from him and what he's produced the last few years. And Mosley gets ahead 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Robinson Cano. Be nice to see Mosley, just for his own peace of mind and confidence, to go 5 or 6 innings today, wouldn't it?
Exactly. You can't find a nicer human being than Dustin Mosley, too. Yeah. He knows, this is an opportunity to show Mike Scioscia and Mike Butcher that he's capable again. He's battled back from elbow surgery during the wintertime, so you get that up and down period when you come back from surgery that he has. So some days you feel better than others, and hopefully this is a situation where he's shown that he's got the ability to get big league hitters out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cano grounds one up the middle. Rodriguez moves quickly to his right and gets him. Monday night, Torrey Hunter, after getting into that altercation with Pudge Rodriguez, he knew there was a pretty good chance he might get suspended.
That's the way the game goes, man. You do something like that, man. I got kids, and there's a lot of kids here, and a lot of fans, and you don't want to promote violence, so I got to be punished. I understand, but it wasn't intentional. Just, it was heated.
Torrey Hunter and Pudge Rodriguez, as you mentioned, Gooby, they are pretty good friends. They've both been around the game so long. They've gone up against each other many, many times.
Different uniforms. Those things happen. Like what he said, though, is it's not something he wanted to do, and certainly understood the suspension, considering there's young kids watching the game and how important it is not to resolve your issues that way.
Just before the game, Pudge and Torrey.
And there's Ludacris there too, Rory.
Oh, really? You all right? Yeah, I'm good. All right. Good luck, yeah. A little bit tweaked.
He said a little bit tweaked, talking about his back from the shove in the back. Jose Molina goes down on strikes, and Dustin Mosley has a 1-2-3 inning. It's 2-1 Yankees in the second. Two to 1 Yankees, bottom of the second inning. Rob Quinlan leads off for the Angels. The Q hitting .280. Playing third base today. Figgins' elbow is still a little bit sore, where he got hit by a pitch by Carl Pavano a couple of nights ago. So Quinlan's getting more playing time over the last couple of nights. Two balls and a strike to Rob. He might have been in there today anyway. Quinlan's basically made his living hitting left-handed pitching. 2-2.
4 for 9 against Andy Pettitte. That's a .444 batting average for Q against Andy Pettitte. It's always been a great look in there for Andy Pettitte to see the eyes.
Cano handles the soft line drive, and that is out number one. Fans, the Angels have a special ticket offer to show thanks for all of your loyal support during the season. During the September 11th through 14th series with the Mariners that begins tomorrow, tickets are available starting as low as $3 or up to 80% off in select seating areas when you use the password THANKS at angelsbaseball.com or the Angel Stadium ticket window. For more information, visit angelsbaseball.com/ticket specials. Ball one to Mike Napoli.
Always like this about Andy Pettitte. Dave Stewart, number of teams, but most known for Oakland, had that same look over his glass. He couldn't see his eyes. Didn't know what he was thinking. Andy Pettitte's been so good for so long. No idea what's going on in his mind. Just barely see his eyes. The hitter, you like to try to get that sense of fear, but you're not going to get it out of Andy Pettitte. Or did you ever have any chance of that against Dave Stewart?
It's 1-2 to Mike Napoli. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pettitte has lost 3 straight decisions to Boston, Toronto, and Seattle. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Napoli goes down swinging on the breaking ball. The first, make it the second strikeout for Pettitte. Now time for the Land Rover legendary performance. We've been talking about Andy Pettitte. He's 4th on the all-time win list with the Yankees, behind Whitey Ford, Red Ruffing, and Lefty Gomez. Whitey won 236 games for the Yankees. Brandon Wood takes strike 1.
Woody, one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time.
One ball, 1 strike. We talked about how amazing it is how well Garrett Anderson does, left-handed hitter, who doubled in the first inning, and Pettitte has allowed only 12 extra base hits to left-handed hitters this year. Now 13 with Garrett's hit in the first inning.
He has struggled against righties, though. The righties coming in the game .322 with 15 home runs. So it's been the right-handers having success.
And there's a base hit into left field for Brandon Wood. A 2-out single for the Angels shortstop. That'll bring up Sean Rodriguez. The Angels today with 3 hitters in their starting lineup hitting under 200. And Rodriguez is one of them. In 117 at bats, he's hitting 188. One 1-0 to Sean. One early final in today. The Oakland A's beat the Detroit Tigers 5-2. Texas at Seattle gets started in about 20 minutes. So they will be well behind this ball game. It's 1-1 now to Sean Rodriguez. If the Angels win and the Rangers are in maybe the 6th or 7th inning, do the players hang around the clubhouse?
You better. You have to. It's an opportunity to celebrate something that you've been working for since the first day of spring training. A chance to get to the postseason.
It's almost automatic, isn't it?
There's no better feeling in the world is when you make the postseason. And Mike Scioscia always talks about playing one game at a time, one series at a time, but that's the one time he's going to say, okay, I looked up, we won this division. I can't make that little white lie anymore about I'm not looking up, not reading newspapers. I know we're in there.
Well hit by Sean Rodriguez. Abreu goes back, but it's over his head. Brandon Woods at third and being held up there by Dino Ebel. It's a double for Sean Rodriguez, and that was really borderline. Dino will usually put the pedal to the metal if there's a chance to score him, but he made the decision not this time.
Right decision, too. They did a nice job. Bobby Abreu, after he was not going to be able to make this play, it's typical in the daytime. Ball carried very well. Initially, Bobby Abreu thought he had a shot, but then he ran in, then had to go back, played it off the wall very well, hit his cutoff man. That's what you want from an outfielder. When you're back at the warning track, hit your cutoff man. Cano got out there in position to cut it off. Brandon Wood would have been an easy out at home plate there.
Second and third, 2 outs. Gary Matthews up there for the Angels. Matthews popped out to second base his first time up. So Brandon Wood and Sean Rodriguez, they both come through with 2-out hits off of Andy Pettitte. Ball 1 to Matthews. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. Pettitte spent 2004, 05, and 06 with the Houston Astros. But he'll always be thought of as a Yankee, I think. He was the Astros pitcher of the year in 05.
He's won a lot of big postseason games for the Yankees. So he'll definitely be always known as a Yankee.
2-1 to Matthews. We go back all the way back to 1996. Pettitte was a 21-game winner and did not win the Cy Young. That went to Pat Henkin of the Blue Jays, who also won 21. Check swing by Matthews. Strike. Two and two now to Gary Matthews.
Yeah, Gary, this even from up here looked like he definitely went. Once you make that commitment, yeah, he crossed the plate by a lot. Tried to sell it. Unable to do so. It was called a strike.
And it's popped up. Jeter going out. Coming in fast is Damon, and Johnny Damon makes the catch. That will retire the side. The Angels leave 2 runners in scoring position. So after 2 innings, it's 2-1 New York. Time now for our Lexus Pursuing Perfection. It goes back to last night's game, and Johnny Damon of the Yankees. Not just 1 home run, but 2 home runs. for the Yankees leadoff man last night in our Lexus Pursuing Perfection.
That's pursuing perfection when you hit one out that last at bat, breaking your bat. Did sound weird off the bat.
Wasn't that amazing? You might remember Damon was looking behind him as he rounded the bases. Justin Spire was shaking his head, and the reason they were all looking that way is that that was a broken bat home run. That wouldn't upset you if you were on the mound, would it?
No, not at all. You break someone's bat and he still hits it out of the ballpark. That's about as low as it gets when you're on the hill.
Johnny Damon grounded out his first time up. All right, here's Damon's second home run as he's rounding the bases. He looks back. Did I really break my bat on that? I hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, Johnny is very strong. But that's a little ridiculously strong to hit it out with a broken bat.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Spire's had a tough year. That's when you know you're having a bad year. When you break somebody's bat and they hit a home run.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a chuckle with that, and usually you don't smile or laugh a whole lot when you give up a home run, but it's just one of those things where every time he makes any kind of mistake, the hitters have capitalized against Justin this year.
3-1 now to Johnny Damon. Mosley still with more pitches out of the strike zone than in. Balls 22, strikes 21. And a leadoff walk to Johnny Damon, the third walk given up by Mosley today. Kids join the Angels for Salute to Kids Day at Angel Stadium this Sunday, September 14th. All kids ages 2 to 18 in attendance will be eligible to win great prizes. $3 tickets are now available in select seating for this game by using the password THANKS at angelsbaseball.com or the Angel Stadium ticket window.
It's a nice salute you had there, Rory, too.
It's just for the kids, Gooby.
You sure you can't run the bases or go to the aquarium or anything, Rory?
Why would I want to go to the aquarium?
Why would you not?
The batter is Derek Jeter, with Damon at first base and nobody out here in the third. Where'd you come up with that? Why don't you just go to the aquarium?
That's what kids do. They like that stuff.
Here's a swing and a miss by Jeter. He walked and scored his first time. Jeter's been hot on this road trip for the Yankees, hitting .324.
There's some times in at bats for Derek Jeter where he has a swing in which he looks like he's completely fooled. But he's setting you up at times too. I mean, Jeter's, if you throw that same pitch again, Jeter's going to be in a position to get a better hack at it.
The Angels pitched out. Damon was not running. And it's 2-1 to Jeter. Dustin Mosley had a tough first inning, a good 1-2-3 second inning with a strikeout, and off to a little bit of a rough start in the third inning now. Oh, that'll help him. He picks Damon off if they get him, which they do. So after pitching out 1-1, the Yankees had to play on 2-1. The Angels sniffed it out, and Mosley picks off Damon.
Well, Johnny Damon no doubt had saw earlier that the fact is there's a pick off sign there for Napoli for giving to Dustin Mosley, but earlier Dustin Mosley didn't pay attention on a stolen base by Derek Jeter, so Johnny Damon saw that, was wondering if he doesn't look over a whole lot, was going to go early. But Mosley had the pickoff sign on.
And there's a base hit to right that would have given the Yankees first and third, but instead it's just a runner at first with 1 out. So Mosley helped himself a lot with that pickoff of Damon.
Well, as you teach kids at every level, just because you're a pitcher, that doesn't mean your job is over once you get rid of the baseball. Your job becomes a fifth infielder, but a guy that can slow down the running game if he can hold the ball, and that's what Mosley did. Got a big out. Otherwise, like you said, it's first and third.
1 out, 1 on. Bobby Abreu at the plate. Abreu walked and scored in the first inning. Oh, 0-1 to the Yankee right fielder. Talk about a guy with a good eye and a patient hitter. 8 seasons with 100+ walks. And he went around on that, according to Ed Rapuano. That was one that from up here didn't look like he went, did it?
Yeah, that's pretty close. And Bobby Abreu is not real happy about that either. A lot of times it's the intent of the swing, and close, but it doesn't look like he went across. But Dustin Mosley and the Angels got the benefit of that call.
Oh, 0-2 to Abreu. Pretty good crowd here at the Big A for a Wednesday afternoon game. 12:35 start today. Even if the Angels clinch today, they won't know that when this game ends because the Texas game will still be going on. That game not yet underway. They'll get started in about 10 minutes. One ball, 2 strikes to Bobby Abreu. Jeter's back. A lot of retired numbers in New York history. Will number 2 be retired?
No doubt about it. There's a lot of great ones, and he's certainly, when all is said and done, he's going to have numbers of the all-time Yankee legends.
Abreu called out on strikes as Mosley gets that fastball to hit the inside corner. That's the 4th strikeout for Dustin Mosley today.
That's that great 2-seam fastball. You start inside of the left-hander's hip and bring it back. That run in action. Very good fastball. At 88 miles an hour with movement. See, Dustin Mosley has that kind of a fastball. Then you start getting the confidence, and you could throw that pitch in the inside part of the plate with conviction and get some outs with it.
2 outs and A-Rod at the plate. Alex struck out in the first inning. Fouls the first pitch away. Jeter still at first base. Jeter stole second in the first inning. And in this situation, he's definitely thinking about running again. Oh, 0-1 the count to Alex Rodriguez. Just off the plate there.
Good breaking ball by Dustin Mosley. Starts on the outside part of the plate, just off the corner. Barely. Good pitch, though.
One and one to Mosley, to A-Rod. Mosley checks Jeter. And there's a high fly ball hit into left field. He hit it pretty well. Garrett Anderson's on the warning track and makes the catch. A-Rod got under that one a little bit. Garrett had room to go get it. So we go to the bottom of the third, still 2-1 Yankees. Bottom of the third inning now, 2-1 Yankees. With Garrett Anderson leading off for the Angels, and Andy Pettitte misses outside with that one for ball 1. With the middle infielders hurt for the Angels, Gooby, Howie Kendrick, Eric Ibar both out. Figgins has missed the last couple of games. Torrey Hunter is suspended. So things have been a little different for the Angels. But over the last, let's see, it'd be 36 games. The Angels are 19-17. So is there any concern there that, you know, it wouldn't be so easy just to turn it back on once the playoffs start?
No, I think with the bottom line is once you get the whole team healthy. Now, if you were in the stretch like that, inconsistent playing and not playing good defense, that you it would be concerned. But you know, Howie Kendrick, he's getting close. Eric Ibar, and he's had a lot of success against the Yankees. Would love to be in there against them. But I think everyone once Mike Scioscia gets everyone back in there, and Ibar looked great fielding at shortstop yesterday. Same thing with Howie's getting very close. So you know, get them all back. Get Torrey Hunter back. Get rest that quad. Sean Figgins the elbow. Then they'll take off.
Garrett pops one up into shallow right field, and Bobby Abreu comes in to make the catch.
And I believe you have to also. You got to start playing your brand of baseball once the postseason. It's very difficult, I think more so than any other sport, because it's and one individual can't carry it. Mike Scioscia knows that. Basketball, if you're coasting through and you have a guy like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, they can carry you through. But in baseball, you need all 9 guys. So they got to be playing good baseball towards the end. That's why you see a little wild card team always go into the World Series, because they got to play great baseball just to get in the playoffs.
Guerrero grounds one up the middle for a base hit. So Vladdy 1 for 2 as he arrives at first base with 1 out. And Juan Rivera coming up. Yeah, 19-17. It's not like you're 5-5. It's a lot of games where you've been playing just okay.
There's been some defensive lapses. There's been some pitching lapses. The offense has gone inconsistent after that amazing stretch they had in July and in the beginning part of August when they had that great trip back east, Baltimore, Boston, New York.
Well, July they went 19-6. Now that's when they were really playing like a team that couldn't be beat. Juan Rivera up there. He's not able to check his swing, and that's strike 1. Vladdy now with a 10-game hitting streak after that single here in the 3rd inning.
Vladdy up to 299, getting closer.
Oh, 1 to Juan Rivera. You look at the Angels in June and July, for instance. Combine those records. The Angels in June and July went 35-16. They were on fire at that time. So Scioscia's challenge has been, let's keep playing baseball this way. Of course, I don't know, do you think having a 16-17 game lead factors into it?
It doesn't change for him, but players, it's human nature to look up and see you're up by so many games, and you may have some lapses here and there, but I think once everyone realizes playoffs are right around the corner, their games will start getting picked up.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Rivera. Once those playoffs start and you're in that atmosphere, the juices really get flowing, don't they?
There's not a better feeling. It's so much fun because you can have 250 innings pitched, you can have 600 at bats. All of a sudden you're completely fresh. It's a whole new season once the postseason comes around.
1-2 to Juan Rivera. Grounded foul. Still the ball and 2 strikes to Juan. 1 out, 1 on. It's always interesting when the playoffs start. Almost every team will have somebody, one of their key players, who goes about 2 for 23, and then somebody you don't really count on that much will be 9 for 15.
And there's always that one hero where you just have no idea where he's going to come from, and comes up and puts some great numbers. Buddy Biancalana did that for us, our shortstop for the Royals.
Yeah, great name from the Royals past. A-Rod fires to second for 1, and they won't be able to get a double play on the slowly hit ball. Rivera hits into a fielder's choice.
Yeah, he hit about 200 that year, and then he hit 286. He was a part of a joke by David Letterman as far as catching Pete Rose's all-time hit record.
That's right.
Buddy Biancalana had a great World Series. You always need to. Scott Spezio had a good year for the Angels that year in 2002, but he had a great postseason. Although Troy Gloss won the MVP of the World Series, it was the other guys that come through for you.
Kendry Morales at the plate. But on the other side of that coin, A-Rod, for instance, has not been a great postseason player.
Barry Bonds was too until that 2002 World Series. You know, guys put so much pressure on themselves instead of just playing their normal game. They try to carry a team. Again, it's a 9-player team out there during the course of a game, including either your DH or in the National League the pitcher's hitting.
1 ball, 1 strike to Morales. And pitching wise, Curt Schilling, let's say, he's been a good pitcher, of course, but in the playoffs he's just been almost unbeatable.
You look at somebody like a Jack Morris in Game 7 of that '91 World Series. I mean, most people think he should be in the Hall of Fame just from that game alone.
Refused to lose.
Many legends are made in the postseason, and also great players are brought down a level too when they struggle.
1 ball, 1 strike to Kendry Morales. Where is Buddy Biancalana these days? Any idea?
He's got a baseball school.
Does he live in Kansas City?
No, he's down in the Florida area for a while. In Nebraska he had it, but it's a baseball school working on hitting of all things.
Really?
Must have been David Letterman got him over the hump.
One and 2 to Kendry Morales. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. 2-1 Yankees. The Angels' magic number is 2. A win today and a Texas loss. And that Ranger game in Seattle is just about ready to start here in the next few minutes. Kevin Millwood pitching for the Rangers today. Hard hit toward third. A-Rod backhands it. A very long throw is in time. Nice play by Alex Rodriguez, taking a hit away from Kendry Morales, and a great throw from deep third base. A-Rod was in foul territory and gunned it over there to get him. Wow, that's a nice play.
It's about as good as a play as the third baseman could possibly make.
2-1 Yankees. There's A-Rod in the dugout. Nice play by Alex, ending the 3rd inning for the Angels, and a ball hit by Kendry Morales. A-Rod showing a tremendous arm on this one, Gooby.
Wow, amazing play to set himself up and man make that long of a throw and get Morales, who runs pretty well too. And you can't get any further away from the infield than that one there. And A-Rod made a great play, reminiscent of way back in the '70 World Series, Brooks Robinson against Lee May, the Cincinnati Reds.
That was the World Series where Brooks cut everything no matter where it was, wasn't it?
It was incredible. I asked Lee May about that at one time because he was our hitting coach in Kansas City. He goes, you know what? If I'm not going to hit a home run or a double, I'm not going to run hard down the line. I said, Lee, don't lie. He made a great play on you. Don't kid yourself. But he was a lot bigger than me, so I said, all right, I won't say any more.
Jason Giambi leading off the 4th inning for the Yankees. The Angels put the shift on in the infield, particularly pronounced with nobody on base. Giambi singled to drive in a run his first time up. And Mosley jumps ahead 0-2. Mosley's settled down a bit since that tough first inning when he walked 2, balked in a run, and they gave up the hit to Giambi. One and 2.
Better job with his pace on the mound too, and using that fastball inside to a lefty, but it's a dangerous pitch. When you throw that ball inside in the inside corner, you have to start off the plate to catch it. If you start on the inside corner and runs over the middle part of the plate, that's the danger spot for you.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Giambi. He hit that one well, but he hit it foul. He jumped on that fastball, didn't he?
That's that. We just talked about that danger spot. If you go inside with that and it runs out over the middle part of the plate, it's a pitch that most pitches. It's a danger. That's the one Greg Maddux is most identified with. It's a pitch that if it's effective, you got to throw the cutter in first to be able to throw that two-seamer to run back. I was going to come back with a changeup on him.
And it got him. Giambi couldn't quite hold up. Mosley gets another strikeout. He's racking him up now. That's 5 for Justin Mosley.
Very good changeup. His best one. He stayed on top of that pitch. Good speed at 82 miles an hour. That's why anytime you see that circle change, you're going to have that kind of rotation of the changeup. And our Jaguar Exmo, good pitch.
Xavier Nady at the plate. Oh, 0-1 to the left fielder. He struck out in the first inning. One ball, 1 strike to Nady. Xavier Nady never made a minor league appearance. He made his major league debut in September the year 2000 with San Diego. No time in the minors at all. Two balls, 2 strikes to Nady. When the Yankees acquired him in July, it seemed like a big move, and he did do well. And there's a hard hit ball into left field for a base hit. But the pitching just didn't hold up for the Yanks.
He hit some big base hits against the Angels in that 4-game series last month, and he has put us a pretty good number. He's always had the potential to be a 5-tool player in the outfield, but he's just struggled to stay healthy and develop that power that everyone thought he would. Good swing, though. Good balance. Lower half of his body was able to stay back and drive that ball past the shortstop.
So he's at first base with 1 out. And Hideki Matsui at the plate. He flied out to deep center field his first time up. Strike 1 to Matsui.
Well, when the Yankees lost Wong there, when he was throwing the ball so well on his way at that point, you talked about his name is a Cy Young candidate to go into the All-Star game. He went down. Matsui was out for a long period of time. Just some key players for this Yankee team. But once they haven't been able to offset that via the trades, that's what's hurt them.
Looking at Hideki Matsui, he's the subject of our Corona timeout. He's been nicknamed Godzilla since high school. He is a first-degree black belt in judo, and he was the 3-time Central League MVP in Japan. One ball, 1 strike to Matsui. On the ground to first. Morales fires to second for 1 and covers first for the double play. That gets Mosley out of the 4th inning, and it's still 2-1 Yankees. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. Who is the only Angel pitcher to throw a complete game in a division clinching win? We'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Wasn't you, was it?
Oh, Roy, we're such good friends.
Rob Quinlan takes a strike. Just wanted to eliminate.
Yeah, just take me out of the equation since my ERA was so good for the Angels. Appreciate that reminder.
1 ball and 1 strike to Rob Quinlan. Two and 1. Quinlan lined out to second base his first time up. Andy Pettitte, 60 pitches, 40 strikes. A high chopper. Jeter will have to gun it over there, and he beats Quinlan by half a step. 1 out in the 4th inning. Mike Napoli coming up.
The Yankees have made some tough plays defensively early on in this game, and it's not an easy one for Derek Jeter.
He made it look easy though, didn't he?
Z-Rod was coming across thinking about cutting that one off, but Jeter caught him off. You need communication by your fielders is important, otherwise you run into each other.
Napoli takes strike 1. One ball, 1 strike to Mike Napoli. And a base hit into left field. The 5th Angel hit of the ball game. Napoli with a 1-out single. One thing Pettitte has done, though, he's gotten a leadoff hitter in all 4 innings. So with 1 out, Brandon Wood coming up. They are underway in Seattle now, and Texas failed to score in the top of the 1st inning. We'll keep you up to date on that Mariners-Rangers game. Brandon Wood singled in the 2nd inning. And there's a strike into Brandon. Napoli took a couple of steps towards second base there and went back.
But still, Andy Pettitte with that great pickoff move has allowed 18 stolen bases. Mike Napoli has 4 on the season. Even a great pickoff move will not stop the Angels for trying to get in scoring position.
It did remind Pettitte to throw over there, though.
Must have heard us talk about he's giving up all those stolen bases.
0-1 to Brandon Wood. Foul back and into our booth it goes. Just a little bit to our left there. Seattle has scored in the bottom of the 1st inning, so they lead the Rangers 1-0.
Kevin Millwood on the mound for the Rangers has been throwing the ball very well, and they see a bullpen by committee day for Seattle. Sometimes that's tough to be able to pick them up. So many different pitchers going to be going against you.
One ball, 2 strikes to Woody.
Similar to the Astros against the Yankees a few years ago, used 6 different pitches to throw a no-hitter. So that sometimes it's tough when you don't get used to seeing one arm. Different guys out of your bullpen.
Throw to first by Jose Molina. Napoli dives back in there. That is pretty amazing. A 6-pitcher no-hitter.
And you look at the All-Star games. Pitchers usually have the advantage because hitters only see you one time through the lineup. And Seattle's going to use that against Texas, even though they got a great offense. The Rangers, they're not going to see anybody but 1 or 2 more times through the lineup.
They're doing that today. The Mariners are.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes. There goes Napoli, and Pettitte has him picked off, but Giambi makes a bad throw, and Napoli steals second base. Giambi first couldn't get it out of his glove, then he threw high.
And the right move by Mike Napoli. Once you're picked off, you run to the inside part of that base, too. Something you're taught. Even though you're picked off, they know you got you just keep running the inside part. You see them going the inside part of the bag to make sure that throw is more difficult, particularly for a right-handed thrower in Jason Giambi.
So Pettit almost added to his pickoff totals, but Napoli made it anyway. 2-2 to Brandon Wood with the tying run at second base. Line to left. It's going to be caught by Nady, and Napoli gets back to second base. How about the answer to the trivia question? Who is the only Angels pitcher to throw a complete game in a division clinching win? We eliminated Gubazov.
Frank Tanano I'm going with.
You're right. And he beat the Royals 1979. Were you there?
No. I was drafted by the Royals in '81.
Okay.
But I'm sure I was your second choice, right, Rory?
If it wasn't Tanana, I thought it would probably be you, yeah. Sean Rodriguez up there for the Angels with 2 outs and Napoli at second. I was there when you were inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame, however. That had to be fun for you.
Did it bring a tear to your eye, Rory?
Well, momentarily. So I thought it was an injustice.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
So how could they do this?
It was nice that the Angels were in town at that particular point, too. It was good. It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it was. What did you get as a gift?
I got an Aerosmith signed out guitar. It was awesome.
Did you?
Yeah. All the fellas from Aerosmith.
Pitch up high to Sean Rodriguez. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I didn't get that Viper they let me drive in on, though. I was kind of hoping they forgot about that and kept it at geese.
Didn't work out that way, huh?
No.
1-2 to Rodriguez. Napoli is at second base with 2 outs. Two balls, 2 strikes. Jose Molina going out to chat with Pettit.
But you want to, as a catcher, when you go out to your pitch, you want to know, hey, what pitch you want to throw here in this spot? What are you most comfortable with? Jose and Andy Pettit. Andy Pettit's been around for a long, long time.
The home plate umpire, Ed Hickox, came out to move that along. It looked like Pettit said something to him like, wait a minute, we're not finished yet.
And also, he might be saying, where was those pitches at, too?
Yeah, he might have. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Sean Rodriguez. There goes Napoli to third. Molina's throw will not be in time. But it was strike 3 on Rodriguez, so it doesn't matter. The inning is over, and the Angels are out. After 4 innings, it is 2-1 Yankees. FSN West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers. See what's new at scforddealers.com. Back here at the Big A, 2-1 Yankees moving into the 5th inning today. The Yankees will have Robinson Cano, Jose Molina, and Johnny Damon facing Dustin Mosley in the 5th. Mosley still taking his warm-up tosses. The Angels down by a run. Texas is down by a run in Seattle in the 2nd inning. So an Angels rally for a victory here, and it would be some interesting viewing in the Angel clubhouse afterwards watching that Texas game.
Hey, regardless of what happens in this inning for Dustin Mosley, Mike Scioscia and Mike Butcher got to be very happy with Dustin Mosley gave the club right here into the 5th inning. Got 69 pitches coming into this inning, so solid job.
Robbie Cano at the plate. Strike 1. Couple of early finals, one significant game. As we mentioned, it's 1-0 Seattle leading Texas in the second. A significant game in the National League. Milwaukee beat Cincinnati in a day game today. The Brewers 4, the Reds 3. Cano fouls one away. The Brewers started the day 4.5 behind the Cubs. So at the moment they're only 4 back. The Cubs are playing in St. Louis later on.
Watch out for Houston in that race for the wild card right now. They've been on fire. They're only 4 back in the wild card race, 4.5.
They are the hottest team in the National League right now, but they started their move from way back.
Similar to what Toronto has done in the AL East.
Toronto has a 10-game winning streak going. And they play the White Sox in Chicago again tonight. 1-2 to Robinson Cano. Philadelphia is underway. They trail the Marlins 2-1 in the bottom of the third. Phillies right now 2.5 behind the Mets. And the Phillies are 3.5 behind Milwaukee for a wild card. Cano's out on strikes. Mosley really is having a nice game now after that somewhat shaky first inning.
His 6th strikeout too. Another good curveball. And Howard's Exmo, get on top. The key for a good curveball is to get on top, have your mechanics in position to be able to keep that arm slide in the right spot. That certainly was that. 12-6 curveball gets a strikeout.
1 out, Jose Molina at the plate. Molina struck out his first time up. Two and 0 to Jose. Another National League game that has implications in the standings is going on in San Francisco. The Giants lead the Diamondbacks 2-1 in the 4th inning. In the Angel bullpen, that's Kevin Jepson warming up and talking with bullpen coach Orlando Mercado. Mosley's thrown 76 pitches. Two balls and 1 strike to Jose Molina. On the ground to shortstop. Brandon Wood gets him. Fans, the first ever Fiesta Angels will take place on Saturday, September 27th from 10 to 5 in the Angel Stadium parking lot. This free event is presented by Bank of America, State Farm Insurance, and ESPN Deportes. It includes music, rides, food, and some of your Angel players and coaches. Visit your local Food for Less to pick up your free ticket for Fiesta Angels. Johnny Damon takes a strike.
Looking forward to seeing you out there, Rory.
Are you going to get there early?
Yes. Good.
0-1 to Damon. Fly ball into right field. Rivera is right there, and the Yankees go down in order in the 5th inning. Mosley doing a good job. We head to the bottom of the 5th, 2-1 Yankees. 2-1 Yankees, bottom of the 5th inning. And for the Angels, top of the order, Gary Matthews to lead off the 5th. Andy Pettitte has given up 5 hits, but only 1 run. Matthews 0 for 2. One ball, 1 strike to Gary. Softly hit, but into center field it goes. A base hit for Matthews. The first time today the Angels have had the leadoff man on.
And Andy Pettitte got that pitch up. Gary Matthews Jr. with 7 stolen bases on the year is definitely a stolen base threat. Pettitte knows that with 91 career pickoffs. Trying to come fastball in, that cutter in, but it got up out over the plate. Just enough of the bat to be able to fight that one off. Howard's Exmo, that cutter. Looks like a slider, but it's basically a fastball with cut action inside the right-handed batters. It's probably his best pitch at this point in his career.
We've been talking a lot about the Angels' chances for clinching the division today, but really the important thing, I think, is the best record in the league right now for the Angels to strive for, to try to get home field throughout the American League playoffs. The Angels at the moment have the best record in all of baseball at 87-57. Garrett takes one outside. The Rays would be half a game behind the Angels and the Red Sox 2 back. It looks like it's going to be one of those 3 teams. The Angels have never finished a season with the best record in baseball, but they certainly have a chance this year. Garrett hits one in the air to center field, and again Damon has to play it on a hop. Garrett Anderson's second hit, his 5th hit in the last 2 games.
Unbelievable what he does against Andy Pettitte. Against left-handers overall, Jamie Moyer, although Jamie Moyer is more of a change-up pitcher, Kenny Rogers, decent fastball, but Andy Pettitte's been unbelievable against lefties throughout his career, but Garrett Anderson continues to swing the bat well against him.
First and second with nobody out, and Vlad Guerrero up there. The Angels right now are 0 for their last 13 hitting with runners in scoring position. Pettitte throws to Cano, but diving back in there is Gary Matthews. Tampa Bay plays Boston tonight. And get back to when you were talking about, Rory, about the Angels striving for that best record. I know Mike Scioscia says he's comfortable open on the road if they have to, because they have the best record in baseball as far as a road record. But you want to have something to push yourself forward this last few weeks of the season. And that would be having the best record in the American League to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs and the World Series. The Angels have the best road record by far in the American League, 43-28. There's only one other team that's even 500 on the road, and it's these guys right here, the Yankees. They're 37-37. Vladdy lines one to right field. Abreu has it go over his head. Matthews had to hold up, so he gets just to third base. It's a long single for Guerrero. Abreu did a good job of making it look like he was going to catch it. So Gary Matthews had to wait. He probably would have tagged up if Abreu had caught it. Instead, he advances 90 feet, and the Angels have the bases loaded with nobody out.
That's a great swing, too, by Vlad. He pitched in the outside part of the plate, kept his balance, drove it that way. Bobby Abreu right away looked out, saw it over his head, playing off the hop. Now bases loaded with no outs.
Matthews at third, Anderson at second, and Vlad Guerrero, who is now hitting 300 at first base. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Angels have a big chance right here. And meanwhile, in Seattle, the Mariners have the bases loaded with nobody out against Texas. Juan Rivera, 0 for 2. 2 times he's hit into a fielder's choice today. Strike one from Pettitte.
I think for Juan right here, Andy Pettitte has such that good cut fastball. That's a pitch that's susceptible to right-handed batters hitting a ground ball. You're trying to get the good part of the bat out to be able to drive this ball in the air.
Jose Veras warming up in the Yankee bullpen. 0-1 to Juan Rivera. On the ground, foul behind third base. No balls, 2 strikes to the Angels right fielder. Pettitte could use a strikeout right here. He has 3 strikeouts today. Bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. The Angels down by a run. One and two. Matthews at third, Anderson at second, Guerrero at first base. The crowd rising to the occasion for the moment. And Rivera takes a called third strike. A fastball on the outside corner. He disagrees with Ed Hickox on that one.
But the backdoor cut fastball by Andy Pettit against Juan Rivera. Jose Molina setting up the outside part of the plate. Slow replay, pretty close pitch. Nice job by Jose Molina framing it on the outside part of the plate. Juan Rivera couldn't pull the trigger on it.
The batter is Kendry Morales. Strike one to Kendry. Kenji Jojima's single scored 2 runs for the Mariners, and they lead the Rangers 3-0 in the bottom of the 2nd inning in Seattle, still batting. The Angels with 1 out and the bases loaded now as Pettit and Molina have another fairly long conversation here.
It looked like he was crossed up on that pitch, Jose Molina on that one. Just want to make sure they get the signs right, especially with a man on second. You change it up a lot. It didn't look like they were on the same page there. Well, the Angels, they could take care of their own business. They have a chance to be able to clinch it today, possibly. With Seattle winning right now against Texas.
That one just missed the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kendry Morales. He's grounded out twice today. Strike 2. Pettit trying to work out of this bases loaded, nobody out jam in the bottom of the 5th. The Angels would hate to let an opportunity like this go by. 1 and 2 to Morales. And he strikes out looking. The 2nd straight Angel to be called out on strikes on the outside corner. 2 outs.
And that's another good pitch by Andy Pettit on the outside part of the plate. Slow replay where Jose Molina is catching the ball. Nothing looks like it gets the corner, but crossing the plate, it's probably a baseball off the outside part of the plate, but too good of a pitch not to try to at least foul off. Andy Pettit, a veteran, knows that. Trying to expand the strike zone against a young hitter like Morales.
Now Rob Quinlan batting with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 0-1 to Rob.
Fastball right on the outside corner. When you have a catcher setting up, he doesn't move his glove. A lot of times you're going to get the benefit of that borderline pitch. Both those guys were called out on similar type of pitches, just on the corner or just off the corner, getting the benefit.
1-1 to Quinlan. Pettit's thrown 90 pitches already, but if he can get Quinlan, he can get out of the 5th inning still ahead. Hard hit but foul. Strike 2 to Rob.
So if he goes a similar pattern like he did against Rivera and Morales, he's going to throw now that cut fastball, try to catch the outside corner. Then we have to Rob Quinlan to shorten up a swing, go the other way with that pitch. Similar to what Vlad did.
Quinlan's pretty good about going the other way most times. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's going back outside again.
And
nice
Quinlan,
job.
Yeah, he reached out and stayed alive on it.
And he asked Ed Hickox if that was a strike. That's a good job. If you're indecisive about it, you're better off trying to foul that tough pitch off.
One and two to Rob Quinlan.
He's going back outside again, same pitch.
Throw to first base. Vladdy gets back in there. Molina trying to help out his pitcher.
And Jose, for all the time watching him when he was with the Angels, waits till the last second to set up. Strong arm, very good at that back pick, the first. Close play on Vlad.
Two
Not
balls
expecting that.
and 2 strikes to Rob Quinlan. And it's gone to a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The first time Pettit's gone to a 3-ball count on anybody. The crowd standing, the bases loaded, 2 outs, and a full count to Rob Quinlan. Hit into left field. Scores Matthews, scores Anderson, and the Angels take the lead. The ball gets by A-Rod, and Vladdy scores. Pettit was within 1 strike of getting out of it. Instead, all 3 score, and the Angels lead it 4-2.
The Angels taking care of business. What a great at bat for Rob Quinlan. Gets that fastball, cut fastball, inside part of the plate, fights it off for a base hit. Nady trying to get Vlad third. A-Rod unable to make the play. Nobody backing up the base. Vlad scores are easy, but what an at bat for Quinlan. He fought off that tough cutter on the outside part of the plate, stayed alive. And of course, the pitcher makes a mistake. You capitalize on it. Drives in 2, and then the Angels get the benefit of error to get another run across.
4-2 Angels in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mike Napoli the batter. Rob Quinlan coming through for the Angels. A huge hit for Rob, who had only 7 RBIs to start the day. Numbers 8 and 9 were big ones. The 3rd run coming home on the error. Here's Napoli, and he yanks one foul down the left field line. Meanwhile, the Mariners in the bottom of the 2nd, still leading 3-0 over the Texas Rangers. One and 1 to Napoli. They've now gone to the 3rd, so Seattle scored twice in the 2nd. If the Angels win and Texas loses, the Angels clinch the West today. But even if it were 15-0 Seattle when this game ended, the Angels would not celebrate on the field. You can't do that, can you?
No, you can't. You got to wait it out. As soon as that last out's recorded up there in Seattle, then you celebrate.
2-1 to Napoli. Throw by Molina to second base, and Quinlan slides back in there. Andy Pettit is about to make his 100th pitch in the 5th inning. Three balls, 1 strike to Mike Napoli. This will be the 26th pitch of this inning. Pettit taking a long time looking in.
Boy, the toughest out when you're a pitcher and it's bases loaded, no outs, or 2nd and 3rd is that 3rd out. You get through those first 2, you relax us a little bit, and boom, before you know it, 3 runs are across.
And there's one off the end of Molina's glove that gets Quinlan to 3rd and is also ball 4 to Napoli. Here comes Joe Girardi, and that's it for Pettit. So the Angels get to Andy Pettit in the 5th inning. Jose Veras is coming in. It's 4-2 Angels. FSN West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the Timeout. Relax responsibly. By Jack in the Box and the new pita snacks at participating Jack in the Box restaurants. And by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. 4-2 Angels in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Angels have scored 3 times here in the inning to take the lead over the Yankees. And Jose Veras comes in for New York, 4-2. 3.66 earned run average in 53 games.
See that 55 strikeouts in 51 2/3 innings pitched. He's got a great fastball, 95, 97, a curveball, slider, and a split finger. They're in and out, who's in, who's out. Andy Pettit is out. Jose Veras is in this ball game trying to keep the Yankees alive.
First and third, 2 outs. Brandon Wood at the plate for the Angels. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Wood is 1 for 2. He had a single in the 2nd inning. Napoli at first base. Quinlan at third. That was a pass ball charged to Jose Molina on that walk. One and one. Woody looking down at Dino Ebel, coaching at third base. The runner at third base is Quinlan. And it was Rob's big hit with 2 outs and the bases loaded that gave the Angels the lead. Napoli back in there. The Angels have out-hit the Yankees 9-3 today. Napoli running. Molina throws it down there. Here comes Quinlan to the plate. He's out at home. The Angels tried to steal one, and Quinlan is tossed out at home plate. But Rob Quinlan's big hit gives the Angels the lead, and the Angels lead 4-2 over the Yankees after 5 innings. Rob Quinlan had the big bases loaded hit to give the Angels the lead in the 5th inning. Then got thrown out at the plate. The Angels try to double steal here, trying to steal home with Rob.
That's a design play from Robinson Cano to cut across, but everybody in that particular play, both the offensive side and the defensive side, did a good job. Quinlan going right as soon as the throw was made, but Robinson Cano cut across, and then Jose Molina did a great job of blocking the plate, not allowing Quinlan to be able to get in there, trying to reach back and tag the plate, but well executed defense by the Yankees.
Executed on both sides. Quinlan broke at the right time, but the Yankees made the perfect play to get him. Kevin Jepsen is the new pitcher for the Angels in the 6th inning. Jepsen made his major league debut Monday night. He worked a 1-2-3 inning and pitched in the Olympics as well. Dustin Mosley could be a winner here today. He leaves after 5 innings. He'd get the W if the Angels hang on. Derek Jeter, the batter, takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Jepsen facing Jeter, Abreu, and A-Rod.
Jeter was the first guy Jepsen ever faced. Now he faces him again.
These same 3 guys. Yeah, you say, why do I have to pitch to these guys all the time? Jeter fouls that one back. And the count 0-2 to Derek. Socia said, well, he did pretty well the first time. Let's put him out there again.
And they went right back up the middle to say hello, welcome to the major leagues. Seattle up 4-0 on the Rangers. Still hitting in the bottom of the 3rd.
Just off the plate there, 1-2 to Jeter. Well, the Mariners helping the Angel cause. So right now, if the 2 scores hold up, the Angels will celebrate the division championship today. But a long way to Fly ball to right field by Jeter. Coming in Rivera to make the catch. Kevin Jepson was part of the U.S. Olympic team this year. But the U.S. Olympic volleyball team was here today and doing first pitch honors.
Gold medalist. Good pitch. Matt Brown making the catch, another member of the Olympic team for the USA.
One out, Bobby Abreu up there for the Yankees. One and 0 to Abreu. Florida leads Philadelphia 3-1 in the 5th. San Francisco up on Arizona 2-1 in the 5th. Milwaukee won. They beat Cincinnati 4-3. This is the time of year it's really fun to watch the scores every day, isn't it?
You live for that at this time of the year. Boy, and Arizona's almost forgot how to win a game. Lost 5 in a row. They're falling way out of that race now. 2.5 games back of the Dodgers. The Dodgers playing well, but the D-backs are just falling apart.
It's not that they're 2.5 back, it's that they're just playing so poorly.
Seems like a lot, although it's not.
And they're 71 and 73 right now. The National League playoff races, the Dodgers are up by 2.5 and the D-backs are losing again at the moment. Today the Brewers won today to cut it to 4 in the Central. The Phillies are trailing today, and the Brewers are in fairly good shape at the moment for a wild card if they don't catch the Cubs. There's a strike into Abreu. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good fastball by Jepson, throwing 94 to 97 mile an hour. All 5 pitches so far fastballs to Bobby Abreu. We thought that was a little bit low.
It's not the first time today Abreu has not seen eye to eye with Ed Hickox. On the ground to first, Kendry Morales. Underhands to Jepson, and they just did get him. Boy, Abreu hustling down that line. That was a close play. That's the second out in the inning.
One of those plays too, as a pitcher, you can't sit there and watch after a while because Bobby Abreu still runs very well. Jepson just barely beat him by 1/2 a step. Gets over there, Bobby Abreu running down there quickly. Maybe less than a 1/2 a step in our Exmo replay. Jepson just got the toe down before Bobby Abreu landed on the base.
That
good
is
call.
Close. Yeah, good call by C.B. Buckner. 2 outs and A-Rod at the plate. A-Rod's 0 for 2, struck out and flied to left. Fouled to the booth to our right, so they're coming back here today. One ball, 1 strike to A-Rod. Breaking ball high, 2-1. The Mariners settled for the 1 run in the 3rd, so they lead 4-0 over Texas. They've moved to the top of the 4th in that one. So they're about 2 innings behind this game. Two balls, 2 strikes to Alex Rodriguez. Full count now, 3-2. There's Giambi waiting on deck. And A-Rod strikes out. Jepson gets through Jeter, Abreu, and A-Rod again in 1-2-3 fashion.
Good job of elevating that fastball, too, to A-Rod. Changed the eye levels, went upstairs with that fastball. Gets him at 95, some cheese up in the zone. A-Rod down.
What time is it now, Gooby?
Well, it's the 6th inning, Rory, so it must be time for a Coors Light freeze cam. Jepson gets that foot on the bag before Bobby Abreu gets the out. And that was a Frost Brew Coors Light freeze cam. Rory, now back to you.
Thank you for that nice throw back to the anchor.
All right, Ron Burgundy, no problem.
Brandon Wood takes ball one from Veras, leading off the bottom of the 6th inning. There's a shot by Brandon into the left field corner. Another hit for Brandon Wood, his 2nd of the day. It's a leadoff double.
Talked about that confidence level going higher and higher for Brandon Wood. The tough pitcher, he's facing a guy with a real good fastball at 90+ miles an hour. Fastball to the inside part of the plate, quick hands. Good weight shift for Brandon Wood, hits that double down the left field line. Now with nobody out, man on second, Sean Rodriguez, a situation to bunt to get another run over to third base. Better chance to get a bigger cushion against this Yankee team.
If the Angels win this game, the fans are going to be invited to stay and watch the rest of the Texas game on the big screen here. And if Texas loses, then the fans can celebrate right along with the Angels after this ball game. Sean Rodriguez takes strike one. And right now, Texas is definitely losing 4-0 in the 4th inning. Oh and 1 to Sean Rodriguez. He's around to bunt very early and fouls it back. So now we'll see if Mike Scioscia would have Rodriguez bunt with 2 strikes.
The hardest pitch to be able to bunt is that high fastball, and Veras is going high up with that fastball. And Mike Scioscia was pointing to Sean Rodriguez, don't go after that pitch. It's so hard to be able to get that bunt down when it's an elevated fastball.
Oh and 2 to Rodriguez. Checked his swing on a wicked breaking ball. One ball, 2 strikes. And that'll get him. That time he threw the breaking ball over the plate. Well, last year when the Angels celebrated their division championship, Brandon Wood, a young rookie with the Angels, wasn't really sure if he should run out there or not.
I think last year, clinching for the playoffs, coming from, AAA playoffs, and then all of a sudden I'm in Anaheim Stadium, standing next to Lackey, and I was asking him, I was like, hey, do I run out there in the middle with you guys, or what's the deal? And he goes, hey, you may only have one chance to do this, so get yourself in the middle. So I was hopping up and down and, spraying champagne, so that was a pretty good time.
Ground ball to second base by Gary Matthews. Cano throws him out as Wood moves over to third base with 2 outs. And they're going to make another pitching change here before Garrett Anderson bats. Phil Koch, a left-hander, is warming up in the bullpen for the Yankees, and he'll be coming in. We'll take a break and then be back to the Big A. Angels 4, Yankees 2. FSN West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by the Lexus Hybrids and the power of H. By Carl's Jr. Try the new prime rib $6 burger, served with grilled onions and horseradish sauce, only at Carl's Jr. And by Toyota. Get your MPG at your Southern California Toyota dealer today. The Angels have the lead 4-2 over the Yankees in the bottom of the 6th. Phil Koch, a left-hander, into the ball game for New York.
Got a good fastball, 90 to 95 mile an hour, good slider. Lefty so far 0 for 6 against Phil Koch. And Garrett Anderson, left-handed batter, is going to have to try to keep that front hip in against him. So the guy got a good fastball and tries to get you out with a slider.
Garrett's as good as anybody as far as left-handed hitters in hitting left-handed pitching. He went 2 for 3 against Pettit today. Brandon Wood at third base, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. They're now in the bottom of the 4th in Seattle, 4-0 Mariners. Anderson takes strike 1. 291 in his career against left-handed pitchers for Garrett Anderson.
286 this year, pretty close to normal.
He pops that one foul. It's coming back out of play. Molina has a look at it, but it bounces up and comes back down into the waiting hands of a fan who won the battle for that souvenir. And he picks his friend up off the ground and says, good try. No balls, 2 strikes to Garrett Anderson. That was a pretty good fastball inside on GA.
I don't think GA is ready for that 93 on the inside part of the plate. Saw a couple pitches out over the plate. So he has a pretty good slider also.
And Garrett goes down swinging on the slider. The Yankees get out of this jam. The Angels leave a runner at third. But after 6, the Angels lead it 4-2. Six innings in the books, 4 runs, 10 hits for the Angels. 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error for the Yankees. Only a few days left to purchase your tickets for the first ever Angels Ceramic Salsa Bowl giveaway night. It's this Saturday. All fans in attendance will receive a free salsa bowl, courtesy of Kern's Nectar, Del Taco, and State Farm Insurance. $3 tickets are available in select seating for this game by using password THANKS at angelsbaseball.com or the Angel Stadium ticket window. Jose Arredondo, he's looking forward to Salsa Bowl night. We were talking about it before the game today.
Well, me too.
I know you're looking forward to it. Jason Giambi probably not aware that Salsa Bowl night is this Saturday.
Otherwise, he might ask the Yankees to stay a little longer.
He might try to come back, maybe. 0-1 to Giambi. And they have the shift on for him. Arredondo, the third pitcher in the ball game for the Angels.
Arredondo with that great split. As Jason Giambi shaking his head. Was that fastball first pitch at 92 and a couple splits after with that. Nasty.
1-2 the count to Giambi. Giambi drove in a run with a base hit in the first inning. The Yankees scored twice in the first. They had a couple of walks. Giambi's hit, a balk by Mosley. But Mosley turned it around after that, went 5 strong innings today. And Giambi gets pushed out of the box by that high fastball.
Reason you do that, change eye levels. You look up for that fastball. Now you're susceptible to the split finger. Signs for the split.
Full count, 3-2.
Now 3-2 count. Giambi with a very good eye. Arredondo shook off a fastball, wants to come back to the split.
And he walked Giambi. The Yankees get the leadoff man on. here in the 7th. Xavier Nady stepping in. Tomorrow, the Mariners are in town. And if the Angels still need a win, it'll be the Mariners who are the opposition tomorrow. The Angels are pulling hard for the Mariners to win today's game, though. Pitch down and away to Nady. The Angels got to take care of their own business right here. And this Yankee team, very powerful. They're not going to give up. It's a team that's played well on the road. An even 500 record on the road. And they got a lot of very good professional hitters throughout that lineup. One and one to Nady. Nobody out, a man on for the Yankees in the 7th inning. A high strike there. Arredondo's ahead 1-2. He was ahead of Giambi 1-2 and lost him. Jose Arredondo from the Dominican Republic delivers. And it bounced up there, blocked by Napoli. Good job by Mike Napoli squaring up his body to make sure that pitch doesn't get by him. It allows Giambi to get over to second base. Splitter in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Nady. And he got him. Jose Arredondo with a strikeout. That's 8 strikeouts of Yankee batters today. Good fastball, running fastball on the inside part of the plate, ran out the corner. Got Napoli sitting on the corner, Exmo replay. That fastball at 92 ran in on him. Nady couldn't get that hands in there quick enough to be able to even foul that one off. Hideki Matsui up there now, 0 for 2. He flied out to the wall in straightaway center field, then hit into a double play last time up. Arredondo hits the outside corner. I think Matsui liked that pitch called at all. Still hasn't got prepared to be able to swing yet. He doesn't seem too pleased by it, does he? Strike 2. Then you drop that split on. He hasn't really seen the ball, hit the ball real well since coming back from the DL. He saw that at 221, taking some time to get a good feel for that plate. One ball, 2 strikes to Matsui. Arredondo takes a little walk behind the mound. He's thrown 15 pitches here in this inning. He has a walk into strikeouts. Giambi, the runner at first, not much of a threat to be going anywhere. And Matsui fouls that one away. Still 1-2. Jose Arredondo, who at one time was pitching under the name Francisco de la Cruz. And last year in Salt Lake, he was in a couple of games after going 2-4 at Rancho Cucamonga. He really burst on the scene this year with the Angels. There's a shot down the right field line, just foul. Matsui just missed extra bases right there. Matsui did a good job on this split finger to stay back long enough to be able to get the good part of the bat out and just pulled that ball foul. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. They're in the 5th inning now in Seattle. 4-0 Mariners leading the Texas Rangers, top of the 5th.
And over in Japan, Matsui sees a lot of split-fingered fastballs. So a good job of staying back, get the good part of the bat on that. Just pulled that one foul.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Robbie Cano waiting on deck. Matsui takes his time getting in there, getting adjusted. And he managed to foul that pitch off. Another tough split finger pitch. Matsui staying alive. Pretty good job there.
So be able to keep your hands back long enough, even if your hips and body goes moving forward. If your hands stay back deeper in the strike zone, you can fight off a tough pitch like that. And Matsui so far has done a nice job as far as fighting off nasty split fingers by Jose Arredondo.
This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And there's going to be a 9th as he fouls another one back. The Rangers are on the board. Nelson Cruz hit a 2-run home run. And it's Seattle 4, the Rangers 2 in the top of the 5th inning. So the scores are the same as the Angels try to add 2008 to that board. Matsui fouls another one away.
You talk about consistency in an organization. The Angels are striving for what the Yankees have been able to do for the last 13 years, getting into playoffs. Now all of a sudden all the teams around baseball are looking at the Angels the way they've built their team. Strong farm system, good pitching, defense, speed. A lot of clubs are going to try to start patterning themselves after the way Mike Scioscia and the organization, Tony Regan's the GM, have built this club.
Here's the 10th pitch of the at-bat to Matsui. And he fouls another one away. This time, the bat cracks in half. So that bat was good for 10 pitches in this at-bat. Now Matsui has another one to continue. 2-2. Boy, Arredondo's thrown him a lot of good pitches. Matsui, a very good at-bat right here.
Out front. Shattered that right in half. Yesterday, A-Rod had that similar type of a bat. Fought off some tough pitches. Hopefully the result's not the same. You got to go make sure you make a quality pitch. You'll be susceptible to a fastball above the belt inside, but it's a dangerous pitch also.
2-2 to Matsui. And another foul ball. Arredondo has thrown 23 pitches this inning to get 1 out. This is an epic battle with Matsui. .23 this inning for Jose. Ball 3. So it couldn't go any other way, I guess. It's now 3-2 to Hideki Matsui. This will be the 13th pitch of the at-bat.
Would the Yankees trust Matsui to put the ball in play and send Giambi out on a 3-2 pitch with 1 out?
Giambi has a nice lead. He does not go. And Matsui strikes out. What a battle between Arredondo and Matsui, and Jose Arredondo wins it. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Got him with a high split. He fought off some tough ones down in the strike zone. Well, it's a perfect view of it from the Exmo. That baseball split between the 2 fingers of Arredondo, but it was elevated enough where it changed the eye level and gets him out.
Two down. And the Rangers have tied the game in Seattle. Ground ball to first base. Morales goes to the bag. That retires Robinson Cano. 7th inning stretch at the Big A. 4-2 Angels. Taking a look at the Jack in the Box game recap here in the bottom of the 7th. Dustin Mosley went 5 innings. You had to love the way he battled today after giving up 2 runs in the first. He shut the Yankees out for the next 4. He's in line for a win if the Angels hold on. And then Rob Quinlan, with the bases loaded, knocked in 2, an error, scored a 3rd run, and the Angels lead the ball game 4-2.
You're talking about turning a game around. Dustin Mosley, that first inning, he had a couple walks. He balked in a run. I mean, everything could go wrong, but then he came back and was outstanding for the next 4 innings. 6 punch-outs, too.
Jabba Chamberlain has taken over for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-3, 2.67. He's had 12 starts. He's been in 34 games overall. Big guy, Jabba Chamberlain.
Well, fastball 92, 97. At times can touch 100. He's got a curveball, hard slider, and a changeup. So he may be forced back into that bullpen role. He did do some starting for him, but boy, he can bring it.
Listed at 6'2", 230 pounds. Born and still lives in Lincoln, Nebraska. Vladdy, the first batter he'll face, and there's ball 1. Jabba Chamberlain. That name came from a relative, a young relative, who could not pronounce his first name of Justin. His real name is Justin Lewis Chamberlain. But Jabba stuck.
As big as he is, I don't think you're going to get him to change it. And not many people can. And hard as he throws. And his slider is, at times, touches 90.
Vladdy a little behind on that one, fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vlad Guerrero has 2 hits today and is now hitting 300. Exactly. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A little bit inside. The Angels right now are 6 outs away from reducing the magic number to 1, and then waiting to see what Texas does. Texas rallied in the 5th inning and tied their game in Seattle. Chamberlain strikes out Guerrero leading off the bottom of the 7th.
Well, that was that hard slider he threw. Chamberlain, the outside part of the plate. Vlad way out in front. Sharp, tight slider by Chamberlain. The guy that started out in the bullpen early in the year, setting up Mariano Rivera. Then he moves him in the rotation. Got hurt, now back in the bullpen.
Juan Rivera at the plate. And Juan hits one foul off to the right, out of play. Texas has been retired in the top of the 5th inning, so they go to the bottom of the 5th. Mariners 4, Rangers 4. Strike 2 to Juan Rivera. Scott Shields is up in the Angel bullpen. So it's been Mosley, Jepson, Arredondo, and next it'll be Shields in the 8th inning. One and 2 to Juan Rivera.
I think he's got a tough decision to make with Chamberlain. Do they feel he's more valuable out of the pen, or do they put him back in the starting rotation? It's a tough call.
He strikes you as maybe a possible closer someday, doesn't he?
Oh, certainly he has that kind of stuff. That fastball, the slider, that good mentality, aggressive. Pitch 3, 4, sometimes 5 days a week as compared to once every 5 days.
And he gets Rivera with that devastating breaking ball. 2 down. Fans, come check out your Angels this Friday, September 12th, then sit back and enjoy a spectacular fireworks show courtesy of Wells Fargo. $3 tickets are now available in select seating for this game by using the password THANKS at angelsbaseball.com or the Angel Stadium ticket window. It's one of the last Big Bang Friday games of the year this coming Friday. Kendry Morales fouls the first pitch back. Kendry's 0 for 3 today. One ball, one strike. They're in the 8th inning in Philadelphia. Phillies and Marlins tied at 3 now. Morales hits one to left field, and it'll be out of the reach of Xavier Nady. Kendry Morales to second base with a 2-out double. That ball was slicing away from Nady, and he couldn't quite reach it.
Good swing, too, by Kendry Morales, throwing that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Stayed with it, got the good part of the bat, and went the other way. It's pretty good weight balance for you, too, letting him go deeper in the strike zone. Even a fastball at that at 93 hits it hard by Nady for a double. Rexmo replay, Nady unable to catch that line drive that's going to go away from you because he's a left-handed batter.
So here's Quinlan, who got the big hit of the day in the 5th inning. A bases-loaded single that knocked in 2. A 3rd run scored when the Yankees threw the ball away. That was a huge hit. The Angels had loaded the bases with nobody out. Then Pettit struck out Rivera and struck out Morales. He went to 3-2 to Quinlan before Rob got a base hit. One and one to Quinlan.
He did such a nice job of staying alive in that at bat against Pettit because he was trying to get that outside corner like he did against Rivera on that same exact pitch in Morales, that cutter on the outside part, but he fought it off and got a better pitch to hit, and he capitalized.
Two and one. In Seattle, the Mariners have a runner at second base with nobody out. And Jose Lopez batting in the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 4. Quinlan grounds out, and the Angels are out in the 7th inning. We head to the 8th. The Angels lead the Yankees 4-2. Back here at the Big A, a beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and the Angels trying to clinch the American League West on this nice day. 4-2 is the score. Scott Shields is the new pitcher for the Angels, making his 56th appearance of the year. He leads the American League in holds, and that's what he's in here to do right now. Hold it and get it to the 9th. Let's take a look at the Mariners-Rangers game again. The Mariners have taken the lead on that hit in the bottom of the 5th inning, and they lead the Rangers now 5-4.
Oh, Ibanez, the Angel killer, scores the run. This time they like him.
Wilson Betemit batting for Jose Molina. Takes strike 1. Betemit hitting .259. No balls, 2 strikes to the Yankee pinch hitter. Shields jumping ahead on the count. Johnny Damon and Derek Jeter to follow here. This ball game's a long way from over. And certainly the Mariners-Rangers only in the 5th inning. Texas capable of coming back from just about any score. Oh, that one bounced way in front of the plate and hit Napoli on its way to the backstop.
That's one of those pitches when you're ahead way ahead of the count 0-2. You're going to throw that curveball to make sure you get it down in the dirt. You got to trust your catcher to block it, but that's a tough one. And that got a lot of Mike Napoli on that curveball in the dirt.
Two and two to Bettamy. As a pinch hitter, he's hitting .273 this year. And it's a full count now, 3-2. The Mariners trying to get more in that game. They have runners at first and third with one out in the bottom of the fifth, leading the Rangers 5-4. And Bettamy goes down swinging. Shields threw the fastball and got it by him.
What is that good two-seam fastball? You run in the inside part of the plate, then run out and get the corner. Bettamy couldn't catch up with that 93-mile-an-hour fastball by Scott Shields.
That's 10 strikeouts for Angel pitching. The Mariners have scored again, and it's now 6-4. Seattle over Texas, still batting in the bottom of the fifth. Johnny Damon, the batter here for the Yankees. 1-0 the count to Damon. That's in for a strike. They're in the seventh in San Francisco. Giants still lead the Diamondbacks 2-1. Two and one to Damon. Damon homered twice yesterday. He's 0 for 2 with a walk today. And it's 2-2. The second straight full count.
Scott Shields is shaking his head. His balance was off just a little bit. Rushed that pitch. Fell towards the first base side. Want to keep that balance for him.
And that's strike three called on Damon. 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Well, he made a good adjustment too. Good balance to that fastball again. The inside part of the plate. Starts off and then catches the corner. Great late movement for Scott Shields.
Here is Derek Jeter. 1 for 2. He walked and scored in the first, singled in the third. Jeter trying to bunt his way on, fouls it away. The Yankees have only 3 hits today, so you can't blame Jeter for that. They had an RBI single in the first, a single in the third, and another single in the fourth. That's it.
Exocia's looking on to see if Derek Jeter, when he attempted to bunt that, didn't bunt that ball and foul off him when he was out of the batter's box.
It did hit him, but he's still in the box.
Okay, it gets him right away when he's still in the batter's box, but very close.
And there's strike 2 to Jeter. Shields with back-to-back strikeouts. The Angel pitchers Mosley, Jepson, Arredondo, and now Shields have done a tremendous job. And Jeter fouls that one away. The bullpen has been lights out today.
5 punch outs in 2 2/3. No hits. Scott Shields tried to throw that 3/4 action on that fastball to get Jeter out on that one, but now it's susceptible to either a fastball back outside, which he's setting up right here.
Ground ball towards the middle. Rodriguez is there, and Sean throws out Jeter. The Yankees are done in the 8th. Still 4-2 Angels.
And welcome back to our Southern California 4-game summer. The Yankees scored both those runs in the first inning via with one base hit. Rob Quillen's 2-run single gave the Angels the lead, and Anderson, Guerrero, Wood 2 hits apiece. But a great job out of the bullpen, though, by committee so far with Jepsen, Arredondo, and Shields with Thielen.
Strike one to Mike Napoli, leading off the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-2 Angels. If they hang on in the 9th and Frankie Rodriguez is getting ready, the magic number would be down to 1, pending the outcome of the Texas-Seattle game, and Seattle's ahead. There's Frankie getting ready for the 9th inning. Seattle still leading at 6-4. They've been retired in the 5th inning, so they're going to the 6th. Mariners 6, Rangers 4.
And what a job by Dustin Mosley. Great job. Mike Butcher went out and talked to him and responded. 5 very good innings for Dustin.
Be great to see him get the win on the division clinching game, wouldn't it? 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mike Napoli. 1 for 2 today. He has struck out, singled, and walked. Jabba Chamberlain. Ooh, just missed another strikeout right there. He had 2 of them in the 7th inning. Full count, 3-2 to Mike Napoli. That time, Napoli looked at 1 too many. Strike 3. Chamberlain has struck out 3 of the 4 outs he's recorded.
That's the curveball there, too. Curveball and a slider for Chamberlain, along with that fastball. And we'll throw the changeup, although probably won't throw as many changeups out of the bullpen role as compared to a starter.
Brandon Wood, the batter. That's 10 strikeouts of Angel hitters today. The Yankees have struck out 11 times today. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brandon Wood. He's 2 for 3. One and 2 to Wood. As we watch the pennant races, the Marlins have taken the lead in Philadelphia. There's a fly ball into center field by Wood. Johnny Damon comes over to make the catch. The Angels have a special ticket offer to show thanks for all the fans' loyal support during this season. During the 4-game series with the Mariners starting tomorrow, starting as low as $3 or up to 80% off in select seating areas when you use the password THANKS at angelsbaseball.com or the Angel Stadium ticket window. For more information, visit angelsbaseball.com/ticket specials. 2 outs and Rodriguez up there for the Angels. Fly ball right field by Sean Rodriguez. Abreu looks like he has room and puts it away. So we go to the 9th inning. Frankie Rodriguez will be in to try to pick up the save. The Angels have a 4-2 lead, looking to slice the magic number to 1.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for your Angels, number 57, Francisco Rodriguez.
Frankie with 55 saves. Tied for the 2nd most in baseball history. He's chasing the record of 57, owned by Bobby Thigpen. Smoltz also had 55, so did Gagne. Frankie can get number 56 today. If he gets through the heart, of the Yankee batting order. Bobby Abreu leads off the 9th inning. Strike one. Abreu's 0 for 2 today. He walked and scored in the 1st inning. The Yankees have only 3 hits on the day. Abreu has never had a hit against Francisco Rodriguez.
What a great changeup. You throw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and then drop an 86-mile-an-hour changeup. It doesn't get much better than this. Have to face Bobby Abreu, Alex Rodriguez, Jason Giambi to get save number 56, the magic number to 1.
That one a little bit low to Abreu. The Angels up on the railing in the dugout. Just about everybody getting a little bit closer look. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bobby Abreu, hitting .297 with 16 home runs. Foul back out of play. Dustin Mosley struggled in the 1st inning. He even balked in a run. The Yankees scored twice to take a 2-0 lead. You wouldn't have thought at that moment that they wouldn't score again. But that's been the case today. They have only 3 hits. Mosley settled in and was absolutely great for 5 innings. Then Jepson, then Arredondo, then Shields, and now Frankie Rodriguez. Abreu stayed alive on that tough breaking ball.
Well, if you're a hitter and you're going against Frankie, what are you looking for? He's got a great fastball that can sink it and run the fastball. You got 2 speeds on your curveball and then a great changeup. And he's even learned to change speeds off his changeup also. Coming in with the changeup.
And it's hit to third base. Quinlan fields it cleanly, and Abreu's out just barely at first. Very close play, but that's the first out in the 9th inning. The Texas Rangers have tied the game 6-6 in Seattle, by the way, on a home run by Hank Blaylock.
A good play by Rob Quinlan on that one. Bobby Abreu showing still some good speed. He gets that out, not by a lot, but all that matters is getting that out.
Here is A-Rod. 0 for 3 today. Oh, devastating breaking ball from Frankie for strike 1.
That buckled him. Good breaking pitch by A-Rod against A-Rod.
And another one, this time it just missed, although A-Rod was backing out on that one also. A-Rod has not enjoyed facing his namesake.
8 punch-outs, 13 at-bats.
Strike 2 to Alex. One ball, 2 strikes to Alex Rodriguez. Frankie seeking save number 56. Two and two. Giambi will be next. That got him looking. Strike 3. The fastball on the outside corner. 2 outs in the 9th. The 12th strikeout of a Yankee hitter today.
Fastball right on the outside part of the plate. Not many times you see a pitcher make a future Hall of Famer look that bad, but Frankie did when our Exmo replay on the outside corner with that fastball. But A-Rod, no chance against K-Rod.
2 outs, Giambi at the plate. He's 1 for 2. Giambi singled down the right field line to drive in a run in the first inning. The Yankees have managed just 3 singles today. Two and 0. If the Angels win and they're 1 out away, they cut the magic number to 1, and then they wait for the results of the Mariners-Rangers game. They need a Rangers loss. That game is tied 6-6 in the 6th. 2-1 to Giambi. The fans are invited to hang around here and watch that game on the big screen after this one ends. That game has at least an hour or so to go. Strike 2 to Giambi. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The crowd standing. Frankie Rodriguez trying to wrap it up and knock off the Yankees here today. Ball 3. Full count, 3-2. Xavier Nady will get an at-bat if Giambi can keep the game going. Frankie's gone to a full count on Jason Giambi. At least one more pitch. What a year he's had. What a career he's had as an Angel. He came in 2002 with a fastball that blew everybody away, but he has learned other pitches and made himself even better. 3-2. And he walked him. Giambi walks for the second time today. So at least one more batter now, Xavier Nady.
Boy, Giambi has some kind of eye. That was a pretty good pitch by Frankie. Just a little bit low.
Cody Ransom is pinch running for the Yankees, running for Giambi. Xavier Nady has struck out twice and singled once today. Breaking ball in the dirt. First baseman Kendry Morales started to come in to say something to Frankie, but I think somebody in the dugout told him, get back. He turned around halfway and went back to first.
Well, he's letting him know he's behind him, playing behind the base runner. Frankie right now has got his focus strictly on Xavier Nady to get him out.
In the air, shallow right center field. Coming in, Rivera can't get it. It's in for a base hit. Cody Ransom, the pinch runner, goes on to third base. Nady has a hit, and it's not over yet. First and third with 2 outs. And the batter, Hideki Matsui.
And your outfielders are going to play deeper in that spot because you don't want to give up doubles there, so you're going to play a little bit deeper than normal. That ball falls in easily in the right center field.
Brett Gardner is pinch running at first base for the Yankees. He is carrying the tying run. Two on, 2 out, and Hideki Matsui 0 for 3 today. It's never easy, is it?
Nope. But Frankie's got that great stuff.
And he fakes to third and looks the runner back to first base. Angels 4, Yankees 2. In the top of the 9th inning. Ball 1 to Matsui. They're making Frankie work for it. He's now thrown 21 pitches. Ransom at third, Gardner at first. One and 0 to Matsui, who grounds that one foul. Gardner was running on the pitch, and he would have had second base stolen. The count now 1-1 to Matsui. Last at bat, Matsui saw 13 pitches. It was a great battle, and he finally struck out, facing Jose Arredondo.
Well, everyone right up in that top step. Butterflies going.
And that includes the fans all standing. Swing and a miss by Matsui. Strike 2. Devastating changeup there.
What a great pitch. Good arm action too on that changeup. Matsui way out in front.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Matsui's done well against Francisco Rodriguez, including a couple of home runs. Again, the Yankees down to their last strike. And again, Frankie bluffs the runners back. First and third, 2 outs. If the Angels can get this last out, the magic number to clinch the division goes down to 1. He got him looking. Strike 3. The game is over. Frankie Rodriguez gets his 56th save. He is 1 shy of the all-time record. The Angels are 1 shy of clinching the division, and it could come if Texas loses today. Just another Halo victory.
What a great victory that was. Coming in this game, you look at it, you don't have Teixeira, you don't have Figgins, you don't have Torrey Hunter. Jared Weaver was scratched from the start. Dustin Mosley came in, did a tremendous job going in. But Rob Quinlan, great at bat against Andy Pettit, drives in 2. But Frankie saved number 56. Scott Shields, Jose Arredondo, Kevin Jepson did a tremendous job setting the ball up there for Frankie. Paints it with the changeup. Gets Matsui. Unbelievable victory here for the Halos. They clinch at least a tie with this victory today.
Frankie Rodriguez has more saves in one season than any pitcher ever other than Bobby Thigpen. The magic number down to 1 after the Angel win today. The Texas Rangers are in a 6-6 tie in the 6th inning in Seattle. And if Texas loses that game, the Angels would clinch the division. So they'll wait around in the clubhouse. I would think just about everybody will sit around and watch the ball game going on in Seattle so they can know when they go home whether or not it's done and they have won the American League West again.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun sitting in that clubhouse watching that game. Not too many times you're going to be so excited watching Texas versus Seattle, but it's an unbelievable time right now. If somehow Seattle wins that game, you get to celebrate in that clubhouse.
Angels Live starts right now as Michael Eaves is standing by with the guy who got the big hit today, Rob Quinlan.
Yeah, that's right, Rory. It was the biggest hit of the game, and I want to take you back to that at bat, Rob, because bases were loaded with nobody out, and the 2 guys in front of you struck out looking. I want to know what was going through your mind when you came to the plate against Pettit.
Well, I guess I was thinking I didn't want to strike out looking. I want to try to put something in play, and you know, he did a good job all day. He got ahead of me there, and I was just battling from there and kind of choked up a little bit more, and it just happened to be a 3-2 pitch in, and I just fought it off and was lucky enough to put one in the outfield there, get a couple runs for us.
You know, you could say that situation is sort of the epitome of the season. You guys always put yourself in a position to win the game, to score the run when you have to, and even if the first two guys in front of you don't make it happen, you still have faith in the last guy coming up in the inning to get it done, and that's what you did.
Yeah, we really do. It's, you know, it's a whole team effort, and it's been like that all year. You know, we haven't really blown out too many games. They've been all close games. So, you know, if the guy in front of you can't do it, see if the guy behind you can, and just keep cheering each other on. And you know, today it worked out again for us.
So you guys get the win. Magic numbers down to 1. As I look back at the scoreboard, we saw that the game is tied in Seattle between the Rangers and the Mariners. So what do you do? Just go and just sit and wait and watch TV?
Yeah, we'll probably go in the locker room and hang out and watch this, and you know, hopefully today's the day, and it'll be a fun time in there if it happens.
Well, today would be the best day, guys, because it's a day game. They got all day to recover and play tomorrow night for the game. We're going to go down with Rob in the clubhouse. We'll have more of that coming up a little bit later. Right now, though, going to sit out to Billy.
All right, Michael, it could be a long afternoon for us because we're going to be here for the duration, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome out to the Rock Pile. Rex Hudler will be joining us in a matter of moments. We're going to talk to Gooby, of course, Jose. If Seattle looks like they're going to win, or if it gets towards the end of the game, you're going to go back down there into the clubhouse, aren't
Better
you?
believe it. Better believe
Wait,
it.
where is your rain gear?
It's there somewhere, trust me.
I want you to put it on a little bit.
You know what?
later.
The best thing about this whole thing is the Angels took care of business on their side. You know, you win your ball game. After that, you don't worry about anything else. But, of course, you got to wait because you're anxious looking at the big screen in the clubhouse. Guys want to celebrate. But you took care of your part on your end.
Again, here's the scenario for you folks watching at home. We're going to be here. We're going to break this game down. Obviously, you're going to get some interviews. Michael Leaves is going to be down in the clubhouse with reaction to this and also reaction to them watching the Seattle game. And by the way, the Mariners have 2 on, the 6th inning in a tie ball game right now. And if and when Seattle beats Texas, we will be right here for all the celebration, all the reaction. This is the place you're going to want to be. Nowhere else is going to have live post-game coverage except right here on our network. All right, let's talk about this game a little bit. It seemed as though it was deja vu again for Dustin Mosley. It was really a rough beginning, but he truly settled down after that.
I love the way that Mike Butcher approached that mound and said, listen, we have a talk here. It's a one-way talk in one direction. You need to get it done. Trust your stuff, and I think overall he made a nice adjustment into not being afraid of contact. In that first inning, a real tough way to find the command with a couple of walks and only one hit even in that inning. But you saw the stuff. He had a couple of strikeouts early where you go, just trust it. And there goes Mike Butcher. He's looking down just like a father to a son to say, do you really want this? Show me that you want it. And you know what? He settled down nicely by mixing in everything and also using what is best of him, working a little bit faster.
You know, it's so interesting, when Butch came out there initially, you know, he looked angry. Not Butch. Dustin Mosley looked angry. He was very emotional out there about it. And when he balked in the run, I was thinking, oh my gosh, there we go.
Billy, if that's what he needed at that time, be it.
Yeah, let's bring Gooby into the mix. Marcus, are you there? Yeah,
right here.
The sun is just brightly shining on our monitor here. We can barely see you.
I got you guys.
I know. We can't see you, but you can see us.
Oh, that's even better then.
Isn't that nice? Like we were saying, it was nice resiliency and some confidence from Dustin Mosley after that first inning.
Yeah, it was, and we talked about it in the opening, and Jose, you touched on it also. Just having the confidence in yourself and trusting your ability to get people out. You know, early on, he obviously was, trying to hit the corners. Mike Butcher run out there and say, hey, listen, trust the movement on the fastball. Go to middle part of the plate. Allow the action of that fastball to be able to get the corners. Then he started throwing a very good curveball, too, and he got some defensive help. That was the key. Once your defensive players make some solid plays behind you, the confidence level goes up and your ability to go out there and attack the strike zone. So Dustin Mosley coming into that. You never know what was going to happen. He had a tough game, obviously, there in Chicago, but responded excellent with that two-seam fastball. The inside part of the plate, painting the corner, but I loved his curveball, too, throughout this ballgame. 6 punch-outs for Dustin Mosley, gave exactly what Mike Soch and Mike Butcher wanted out. Some innings out of him and some quality innings. He's got to feel great with the possibility right now of having his name up there as the guy that helped clinch the division. So he did it and responded exactly the way they wanted. Great job by Dustin Mosley.
Glad to see him settle down. And also, you mentioned innings and guys fighting for jobs. About the bullpen, starting with the youngster. A couple of them in the mixer, perhaps for a playoff spot, but Kevin Jepson and the rest of the bullpen outstanding here. What do you see?
Hey guys, what about that? Is, you know, the first his debut, he faces Jeter, Abreu, and A-Rod, and he's got to do it again his second time out there. Hey, he's got a fastball he can rush up there to 95 miles an hour. He's got a good curveball, and he looks like he's got a pretty good plan out there. When you go up there and challenge someone like A-Rod, change eye levels with that fastball up in the strike zone, hey, that shows you got some guts out there. Going through that heart of that lineup, guys that you've seen as a kid, guys that have been successful, guys that have a chance at the Hall of Fame, and you get them out like you did, Mike Scioscia's got to feel great about the chance of this kid who pitched for our Olympic team, so you know he's been in some tough situation. I love his stuff.
Well, you talk about stuff, a guy that really, 2 pitches, and he gets it done. Sometimes he shows a little slider. Jose Arredondo. From him today, I saw a nice mechanics way over the top. In fact, Gooby, one of the strikeouts to Matsui was not a great pitch, but he had enough deception to get it done.
Yeah, Jose, you know what? That's one of those pitches, too. Matsui, over in Japan, you see a lot of split-finger fastballs. They do a good job as far as working down in the zone. He got him up to swing at that pitch. It was elevated just enough for him. He's also got that fastball, too. You can't just get away with a splitter unless you got that fastball to back it up. He was throwing 92, 95. And I had all the guys over from the Yes Network looking over at me going, wow, what is that pitch? I said, that's a nasty split finger, and that's what he used today. The key is getting on top of that pitch, and once he does that, very successful with it.
And of course, Mark, Frankie Rodriguez now on the brink of history.
Amazing, 56. I mean, look at those changeups he's able to throw. You know, here's a guy right now that has somewhere up to 6 pitches. He's got a fastball that he can sink and ride at 92 to 93. He's got 2 speeds on the curveball. He's got a great changeup. And as you see right now, he can even change up off his changeup. And that's what's so impressive. Gets Matsui on that changeup to end the ball game. They want devastating stuff. A lot of emotion for him right there now. Save 56. That great ERA at 2.38. Bobby Thigpen, at this point, only had 50 saves on his way to that record of 57 saves. So Frankie in great position, but above all, he got an opportunity to be able to pitch the clinching game as far as tying in right now for the Angels, and then you're going to wait around to see if the Rangers lose that ball game and end up winning the division. But Frankie, unbelievable. When you can throw those kind of pitches, no chance for the batters.
Gooby, because we're going to be filling so much time, this is the one time we're saying don't cut it. Just keep going like this. By the way, you might have heard some noise behind Mark Gubicza. That is because Seattle has just taken the lead in the 6th inning. It's now 7-6. You have one more question, though, for Mark.
Well, that celebration, Gooby, you've been in a situation like this. What is it like in that clubhouse right now?
You know, it's a great feeling, and nobody's going to be leaving. You sit around and wait. We actually won the first division I was ever involved in, '84 in Kansas City, waiting on the plane. And then when we found the score, we went pretty crazy on there, too. So these guys fought so hard from the very first day of spring training. Now an opportunity to wait back, sit back, relax, and see if Seattle can pull this off, and then they can celebrate as a team, as a unit, as they get ready for the playoffs now. Get everyone well rested because it's going to be a tough playoff run, but above all right now, enjoy the moment, watch the game, and have a lot of fun.
Gooby, you're sticking around, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be sticking around.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
No.
Come visit us out here if you want.
I might have to.
By the way, spank the Yanks. Look at that outfit. Gotta love that. Fans are here. They're not going anywhere. We're waiting on Seattle. See you in a minute. Angels Live is being brought to you by your Southern California Hyundai dealers. This was the final out just about, about an hour or so ago. The Angels and the Yankees. Frankie Rodriguez closing it out. So the Angels take care of their part of the deal. Welcome back on the network as we are now going to take you to Seattle because there's one out in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the situation. If you're just kind of flipping through. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill McDonald. This is Rex Hudler. We are here for a celebration for the Angels winning the AL Western Division. It's going to happen if Seattle can hold on here in the next couple of minutes.
That's right. We're going to go to it, Billy Mack, as soon as the action starts. Never in my Angel broadcasting career have I ever pulled for J.J. Putz to put him on the rocks. But he's about ready to, Billy Mack.
Yeah, some of the fans have stuck with us out here by the rock pile. Let's hear it. And, of course, some other fans are sprinkled throughout the stadium waiting. And we will have live clubhouse celebration with Michael Leaves and Jose Mota in just a matter of moments if Seattle holds on. There is one out in the 9th inning. We're going to take you right now to the game call. Live action in Seattle. And then we'll be right back here, win or lose.
Don't go anywhere.
The Mariners, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a minute. He'll
go against the Angels tomorrow night down in Anaheim. Well, here is the pinch hitter. Ramon Vasquez, and he is a villain in the Putz household. A 2 for 4 and a home run. And we welcome in our viewers down in the Los Angeles area. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers here in Seattle. Been a slugfest here today. 8-7 Mariners. And there's a pitch right there to Vasquez. He couldn't get it. 4 home runs hit today by these Texas Rangers. 3 2-run homers and a solo shot by Chris Davis. 4-hit day for Raul Ibanez. He's driven in 3. Ichiro with 4 hits. Kenji Jojima with 2 RBIs. A lot of offensive firepower this afternoon. Angels and their fans hoping for a Mariner win here. Clinch 7th division title. JJ's ahead 0-2.
I think JJ feels pretty good about his fastball. You can see the last one was 97 miles an hour. That's all he's thrown so far, and he's throwing those pitches up in the zone. Tough for hitters to catch up to if he's going to throw it at the top of the strike zone.
Vasquez, as you can see, has done more than enough damage against the Mariners this year. Here's the 0-2. Last time the Mariners had 2 hitters with 4 base knocks in a game was September of '06, September 25th against Oakland. It was Ibanez and Richie Sexton. Today it's Ibanez and Ichiro. 1-2 to Vasquez. Mariners will be taking on the Angels. 4-game series starting tomorrow. Right now, business at hand, 2-2. Tuiasa Sopo bobbles, throws across. Vasquez was not going down the line hard. 2 outs.
What a break for the Mariners. I think Vasquez thought that Tuiasa Sopo caught the ball because he stopped. And by the time he realized what was going on, I mean, Cairo had to take, what, 2 steps away from the base to catch it and go back and touch the base. But take a look at it. Vasquez hits a line drive. I think he thought it was caught. That's exactly what happened. And now he realizes what's going on too late. He's out. So the Mariners catch a little bit of a break. I think if he runs hard, he has a real good chance of beating that out.
So Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are 1 out away from their 7th division title, 8th playoff appearance. 2 outs here in Seattle. Here's Michael Young in a 1-run game. Strike 1 poured in by J.J. Putz.
His first breaking ball J.J. has thrown.
5 for 21. Michael Young numbers against J.J. Putz. Well, that had a lot of bite on it. It was out of the zone, 1-1. So will be taking off for Southern California after the game. Mariners are 4-7 against the Angels. Next 4 days taking on the Angels, and then there's 4-game series back here in a couple of weeks. Here's the 1-1. Mariner fans wanted that pitch. 2 balls and a strike. 23,644 taking in some day baseball. The 2-1 to Young. 2-2.
It's another good pitch by JJ. Again, his fastball 97, 98 miles an hour now at the top. That's tough for a hitter to try to catch up to, but JJ needed to throw a strike. Didn't want to go to 3-1 with Young just because he had Hamilton standing over on deck. get this game over and not give Hamilton a chance to get a swing off.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. J.J. puts the pitch to Michael Young. Down low. Mariners shade Young a little bit towards right center with Valentine out there. Here we go. The 3-2 pitch. 8-7 Mariners. Got him looking. Game over. Mariners win it 8-7. And congratulations to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They just clinched their 7th
And with that,
division
ladies and
title.
gentlemen, the Big A has exploded. The fans that have stayed here to watch the Seattle Mariners close out the Texas Rangers, and it is now official. The Angels are the 2008 division champions. Here are the standings as the magic number is now down to 0. Angels beat the Yankees today 4-2. Mariners beat Texas by a run. Fans have stayed out here with us, and you are going to enjoy all the live celebrating in the clubhouse in a matter of moments. All the interviews will take you. You'll hear from everyone with both Michael Leaves and Jose Mota. Welcome back to the Rock Pile Live. I'm Bill McDonald, of course, Rex Hudler. We haven't had this before. This is kind of a different dynamic, a different scenario, and it's pretty thrilling to be out here right now.
No question, Billy Mack. It's exciting. You know, people think, oh, we want to see him celebrate on the field. Well, if we have 3 more celebrations on the field, that means we're grand world champions. Look, plenty more to come, but this is fun, exciting. The fans are waiting here afterwards. I can't wait to see the celebration in the clubhouse.
You know, this is about as early as anybody's ever clinched right now. I mean, we're looking here at the 10th of September. The Angels completely dominant this year. Obviously, we are going to, well, we want to go inside the clubhouse, and there it is. I think we have sound there too, so we're just going to lay out and let you enjoy the moment. Angels celebrating. All right, you're not going to miss a thing. Trust me, because that's why we're here. It's not about us. It's about the players and the managers and the coaches and the front office, and I'm sure everybody will be having their moment. You know, the Angels expect to go all the way this year. That is their ultimate goal. But as we've been talking about time and time again, they're going to let loose a little bit tonight because you played for many, many years. It's a long season, a lot of bent-up, emotion and frustration and this, that, a lot of hard work, and it's time to celebrate a little bit.
No question, and Mike Socia said all along, some people think, hey, look, that, we're not going to celebrate because we're going to win some more, but look, here's a couple of the Angel players are coming out of the clubhouse now to celebrate a little bit in front of the fans. But I'm going to tell you, though, it's so much fun, Billy Mack, but we got a few more left to come.
As some of the players come out to greet the fans that have been so patient to stay here, coming out behind the dugout. This is the earliest clinching of the AL West ever as the Angels take care of
and
business.
like you said earlier, some of us never had the chance to be on a team that won and win somewhere, me included, but still in 2002 or in 02 they did that, and now they are on the field. You see Torrey Hunter and fellas all coming out before they're getting their celebration on the way, giving it up for the people here. And what a fitting day, on the day they reached their 3 millionth fan of the year this year for 6 straight years. They clinch. Perfect timing.
And I know the players and the fans can hear us here in the stadium. What a classy move by the Angel players to come out and celebrate with their fans. And I know the fans appreciate it. It's really a joint effort. Over 3 million folks have come out to enjoy Angel baseball for the 6th consecutive year. They are as much a part of this celebration as the players, and they get a chance to share it together. You know, for a couple of these guys, they haven't done it before, or they haven't done it a whole lot, and I know it's a special moment for everybody.
No question. Let's check out what's happened here in this game recap. Dustin Mosley, he got it going. He settled down after giving up 2 runs in the first inning. Mosley pitched his game. He kept his breaking ball down. He kept the halos in, and that mighty strong bullpen came in to give him course. Rob Quinlan, he broke it open right there with a big 2-run single there. The air scored Vladdy, and the halos are off to the playoffs.
And here's Frankie. He's now 1 away from tying the all-time save record. Frankie Rodriguez, flawless. Shutting the door once again, the best closer in Major League Baseball.
That's right, and you fans, go ahead and give it up for your champions on the field, the Angels! I like the fact these players, they know, Billy Mack, They're out here on the field celebrating with the 3 million fans that have donned this ballpark this season. They owe a tip to the cap to the crowd.
Now, as we take a look at the best records in baseball, Angels still going to be angling for that. Mike Socha says we're going to continue to play great baseball. You know the wonderful thing about this organization and this club, led by Mike Socha, everybody contributed. No matter who's out there on the field, who's in the clubhouse, these fans know it is truly a team effort when it comes to this organization, the Red Wave.
No question. Hey, and Mike Socha in spring training, he makes sure to say, hey, look, there's going to be 35 to 40 guys that are contribute to our championship this year. But I like how confident they are in the fact that they go to the minor league system and bring up all the homegrown players. You love that.
Having some fun on the field right now, but here's Q's big hit again after a couple of Angels went down looking. Quinlan really had the big knock here today.
Oh, Quinny's going to be all over the headlines as the Angels now are celebrating on the field. They've got the garden hose out there. That's a pretty cool imitation of champagne, but
they better get the fans. Go ahead and get the fans wet. Go ahead and get the fans wet. Hud, you can orchestrate them down there.
Oh, yeah. I know the fellas, they haven't forgotten the fans. Go ahead and get the people wet. Give it to them.
There you go.
There you go.
That's what they want.
Cool them down, Billy Mack, because it don't get no better.
Obviously, Rex has been a part of this organization as a player. You can tell his excitement. You've been down there in a clubhouse. You know exactly what this is like. We're going to see many more of these scenes throughout Major League Baseball. In fact, we might even see one up the road in a little bit. But right now, it's the Angels who get to party first in Major League Baseball, and it's just a testament to a solid year, really start to finish all year long.
I'm telling you, this is the strongest starting staff Mike Socha's had in his 9 years, Billy Mack, and 90% of the game of baseball revolves around pitching, and when you got pitching and you got a defense and some timely hits, you're gonna win. Believe it. That's the consistency that managers have strived for in the 125 years of this game. Look, if you're consistent in all three areas, pitching, hitting, and defense, you're going to win. And Mike Socha's team has showed that over the course of this season and many before.
And here's the deal. They did it today with a lot of youngsters. They did it with an infield with none of the starting 4 infielders in there today. That, of course, accentuates the depth. They've got some injuries, but guys are going to get healthy. So in the next 3 weeks, continue to play good baseball, try to get the best record. Of course, it only matters in the American League because of the All-Star game. If the Angels, when the Angels make it to the World Series, they will have home field advantage.
Yes, and they're hoping, and home field advantage is important, but Mike Socha said before, not at the expense of tiring out his players. If Angel fans remember last season, they kind of went into that playoffs against Boston not on all full cylinders. Vladdy was sore, Garrett Anderson had a problem, Willits. So the fact that these guys are healthy and fresh is going to be important for Mike Socha.
You know, a lot of these guys have been here through this great run over the last few years. Some of the youngsters have come up. They found a great arm in Arredondo in the bullpen, but a couple of guys have joined this team. One at the beginning of the year in Torrey Hunter. Talk about the infectious nature that he really brought to the clubhouse. I'll tell you what, he brought some life to that clubhouse, and of course, Tex. Mark Teixeira coming in down the stretch to really solidify things.
No question that Artie Moreno provided Mike Socha and Tony Regans with the pieces of the puzzle that they need to go all the way this year. But I'm telling you, health's going to be a big factor. But the fact that we all know Torrey Hunter's great personality, but what he's did to support Vladdy, Big Daddy Vladdy, hitting behind him, he's put up some good numbers this season, and he's given some support to Big Daddy and Garrett Anderson.
Now, I know you're going to give the next comment. You could say Rex is going to be a homer, but for all the folks that are still here in the stadium and the players that might be mingling around, you tell me why the Angels are the best team in all of Major League Baseball.
It's because it starts from the very top, Billy Mack. If you have ownership that's committed to on-the-field product and also off the field, you got commitment from the top, and you got a new GM, okay? And then you got management like Mike Socha, stability in the coaching staff, which is very important for players, and then the horses. The players are the ones who bring the championship, and Mike Socha, he has a whole clubhouse full of players that are winners.
Some horseplay, some shenanigans, some celebrating going on in the clubhouse. I'm sure the fans here can see that too. Remember, stick around. We're going to go live down there. Jose Mota's got his rain gear on. Micah Leaves is also going to conduct some interviews, so you'll get all the atmosphere, all the color, all the flavor, all the excitement that goes on with the Angels down there. Now, before we go down there, and at any moment we may cut down there as soon as we get a chance to go to Jose Live, so you will get it the second we get it too. Talk about Dustin Mosley. Been knocked around a little bit, but what great perseverance today for the Angels to get the win.
You take the mound today, it's an all-win attitude if you're Dustin Mosley. He says everything to gain, nothing to lose. He's had some struggles a little bit this season. He came off some forearm surgery a year ago, his first full season. He met the bill today. Good play by Matthews. He saluted him. I'm going to tell you what, he did a great job keeping him in there, and he picked his best performance of the season to pitch here on clinching day. Nice job by Mosley, and of course, the guys who came in after him. But it's good life on his fastball. Mosley's got a nice spot somewhere in that bullpen, maybe as a spot starter. We'll see what happens the rest of the way.
And I'll tell you what, if the fans are still listening to us here in the stands, I know it's especially sweet because the Angels beat the Yankees today, and it's clinching day against the Yankees.
Hey, and Billy
only sweeter would have been the Red Sox, perhaps.
Hey, now I can't guarantee, but there might be some players come out with a bottle, but me and Billy Mack got some champagne up here. We'll give you a champagne shower if you come up and join us. All right.
All right, I think we're going to hear from Dustin Mosley.
Ah! Oh, there it is. There it is. We got the shower, Billy Mack. We got the shower.
It's already happening.
You gotta love that. Go Halos. We love you. Billy Mack. Way to go. All right, we're going to turn it back down to the Angel Clubhouse.
You guys.
Where pandemonium is
Let's
broken
go
out.
inside. We already got it out here. Thank you, boys. We appreciate that. Let's go to Jose Mota right now with Darren Oliver, the sweet lefty.
Well, Lefty, you've been around a long time, but each time you play, each year you play, how much more special is it?
It's always good. It never gets old, man. It never gets old. This is great. It's a kids' game, and you can see we're acting like kids, and it's a lot of fun, man.
You talk about leadership in this ball club and the whole organization. For you as a veteran player, what does it mean to be involved again in this type of situation?
It's great, man. I mean, that's what everybody plays for, and I've just been in a good situation the last 3 years and been able to do this the last 3 years, so it's great, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it.
Have a great time. Great contributor. Thank you.
Thanks, Mo.
Well, let's go back to the Rocks as we warm up here. Maybe get cooled off here, guys. Back to you.
We're more drenched than you are right now, Jose. Mike Elias is going to be down there. He's going to be getting drenched a little bit. You're enjoying the moment, aren't you?
What a question, Billy Mack. The great Richard McClemmy that came out here and sprayed us down a little bit, and I got a nice keepsake here, an Angel bottle of champagne out of the Angel locker room with the A on it, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Tell me about Darren Oliver, because last year wasn't his best, but this year, during a huge stretch of the season, he was almost unhittable.
Oh, Ollie's been a solid middle reliever, and I'll tell you what, though, what's impressing me is the adjustments he continues to make at his ripe old age of 37, 38 years old, whatever he is. Ollie's been working it. He's doing the job, hitting the corners, got a big breaking ball, but you like what he brings out of that pin from the left side.
Somebody's going to get into that ice tub a little bit later on.
I know. All
right, let's go back down to Jose.
Okay.
Joe Saunders.
Well, the guy that really had to step up for the Angels, Joe, you took on the challenge earlier in the year. There are a lot of questions, a couple of veterans missing, Escobar and Lackey. What type of feeling do you get from this, man, celebrating?
Oh, just total, absolute satisfaction. Just all the hard work we put in, you know, in the off season and during spring training, you know, for it to come true. You know, it's just a lot of hard work paying off, and hats off to these guys. We all worked hard as a team, and can't say enough about them.
Having gone through this before at your early in your career, I mean, how sweet is this one?
What's that? Sorry?
How sweet is this one, knowing that at an early age, early in your career, you go through this again?
Oh, I mean, it's nice, getting called up in September to be a part of it, but actually go through it, have a full season and actually, contribute and work so hard during the year. I mean, it's just an unbelievable feeling. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
Got the skipper go, Mike, congratulations once again. So a mix of things that you had to go through when it came down to spring training and a couple of veterans playing. And Irving stepping up.
Great job, man. Great job, man. Thank you.
The meaning of this one with this ball club special group?
Well, Jose, from day one of spring training, these guys have worked so hard. I'm really proud of the way guys rebounded, like Irvin Santana. Joe Saunders came to his own. We had a lot of guys that had a lot to prove, and so far during the season they did. They got us over that first step, and there's a lot of baseball left, but we're going to be ready.
Mike, you took care of your side by winning the ball game, but was there any anxiety on your part waiting for that ball game to end in Seattle?
No, not really. It was kind of fun because we knew, if they did it, great. We could go tonight. If not, we're going to win it on our own terms at some point here. Hey,
Hey. Thanks, Mikey. Bueno, Vladi, vamos. Caballo, otra vez celebrando, te felicitamos. ¿Qué tan especial es para ti? How special is this one for you? Celebrating once again with another great year.
Bueno, uno que trata es, vamos a ver, que ya pasamos para las finales, ahora con Dios adelante, a llegar a la serie, a pasar y con Dios a ver qué pueda suceder para terminar la temporada.
Trying to get to the finals, he said, obviously the World Series is the goal, and to try to get back to the World Series and stay healthy. And he said, let's see what happens. Hopefully, and God will do all right. Vladi, háblame de tus compañeros nuevos. Let's talk about your new teammates, guys like Torrey Hunter, Mark Teixeira. ¿Qué han traído ellos? What do those guys bring to your ball club? Los veteranos Teixeira y Torrey Hunter.
Claro que sí, yo creo que uno que se sintió bastante bien el cambio que vino con Mark Teixeira y primera vez que juego con Torrey Hunter, me siento bastante bien, contento. Y con día adelante seguir jugando juntos, pero vamos a ver qué pueda suceder.
Y a los fanáticos, ¿qué mensaje? Your message to the Angels fans once again.
Bueno, que uno siempre lo que trata es hacer buen trabajo y con día adelante a ver qué pueda suceder en la final.
Gracias, Vladi. Thank you, man.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, the first answer is about the new teammates and what they've done. He mentioned the sheriff, he mentioned Hunter, and he goes, I know we had a special team with those two guys that are winners. Then at the latest, I asked him about the fans for the Angels. He goes, you know what, let's talk about the finals. Finals, of course, meaning the World Series. Well, we got Howie Kendrick. We got Ivor. Check this out, though. You got to see this. Let's talk about that moment, man. What's going on?
Hey, I love it. I'm Michael Phelps right now, baby. I'm swimming for victory. I need that goal. And World Series ring is the next stop. We got to go, baby. We got 3 more celebrations to go. I love it. It never gets old. It never gets old.
Hey, you went through this before with a former ball club, but knowing you, sorry about that, Michael. I mean, Torrey. You went through this before with your former ball club, but to be in this group, knowing the expectations, how much more is it for you to mean?
Man, I didn't hear you.
With this new group, you got through this before with your former ball club, but with this group, what does that mean for you?
Man, it means a lot, man. I mean, over here, I'm in a new situation. It's my first year, and we were able to clinch. It's special to me, man, because I came over here not knowing anybody. You know, I knew Sosa, I knew Garrett Anderson, but these guys are great over here. This is a good group of guys. I think we got closer as the months went by. This is what it's all about. We worked hard. We had low times, we had high times. This is it. This is it.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man.
All right, another newcomer, Mark Teixeira. Well, you said when you got traded, you have never gone through this before. Ow. This is your first step. Can you describe this for us?
No, this is, playing 5 years in the league, going home unhappy every year. This is why we play, to win a division and have a chance for a World Series.
You come into a team where people talk about not looking at the standings, not looking at the newspapers, in fact, not looking at the scoreboard, but from where you came from, how new was that for you?
Well, when we knew we had it wrapped up a little while ago, you know, you didn't want to celebrate till now. Now we get to celebrate.
And also against a team that used to belong to the Texas Rangers.
You know, the Rangers, you know, had a great 5 years there, but, you know, being on the other side of it now with the Angels, you know, this has been the best team in the American League for a long time, and, you know, we're going to show it this year.
For the Angels fans, and the fact that you've been in a shorter time, but for you, how much more special is it to know you came in, contributed right away, and there's one step there?
Well, this team is so good. You know, we have so much talent throughout the team, and for me just to be able to come in here and not do too much, you know, not expect to do too much and play outside of myself. That's why I came in here, and, you know, it's a great team.
Talk about leadership from the top to the bottom, from the owner to the manager, and getting that message across. Something new for you.
It starts with Soch. He's a great manager, and, you know, the guys that have been here a long time, you know, Garrett Anderson and the new guys like Torrey. This is a great clubhouse, and, you know, everybody here knows what's expected of them.
Go have fun. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Mark Teixeira right away gets it done, and we go from the veteran who's new to this, so a young player that understands more and more, and he's been a great contributor, Brandon, by the way. Describe the feeling going through this once again, but now knowing that you have contributed so much towards the end.
You know, it feels great. I mean, I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to do this for a couple years. And, you know, last year I came up and down a lot, and this year I had a chance to play the last 10 or so games. And being able to play today and have a chance to celebrate with the guys and see what these guys have done for 5 months have been amazing.
Was it hard at all to not look at the scoreboard and understand how close you guys were to this?
I think
tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I think everybody was looking at the scoreboard. I mean, golly, I mean, this is an amazing time, and I mean, I hope this can happen for a long, long time.
Keep
Sorry
it going.
about the mic.
Guys, we're going to go back to the Rocks, and by the way, we'll have more Angels fans as the celebration continues.
Yes, Jose. Jose does a great job. That is chaotic down there. We're going to go back to Jose in a matter of moments. Right now, the party continues out here at the Rocks. We are live. We continue with the celebration. Michael Leaves and Gary Matthews Jr. Michael.
This is what it's all about. You guys go through all that long spring training, a long regular season. This is what it's supposed to be about.
You know, this is, I said last year, this is why I came here, and to have an opportunity to get 2 division titles in 2 years. It's a dream come through. Dream come true. I remember watching my father win a division title when I was a kid, and then, you know, to follow in his footsteps and get a couple myself. Now the next goal is to win a championship, and obviously there's a lot more baseball to be played, but, you know, this is why you play the regular season to get to this point.
You know, there are guys in this clubhouse that have won World Series, won division titles, but this never gets old. I mean, this is like you go back to when you were 12, 13 years old. The fun in the game comes out now.
It's you get a chance. We're playing Major League Baseball, and obviously it's a big business. But you know, when you start winning some ball games, you can see grown men turn into boys really quick.
What's the worst part? The champagne or the beer in the eyes?
You know, it stings a little bit. I think the champagne's a little bit worse, but we can handle the beer. The champagne stings a little bit.
All right, G, appreciate it. Oh!
See what it feels like.
Yeah, this is awesome. Back to you.
Join the club, Michael. We've already had that out here. The Bosley, everything that they did now is just ruined with Rex because we've already had our champagne bath out here. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. Jose is with Irvin Santana. Jose.
Irvin Santana, 7-14 last year. You won in 16 the year before. Irvin, for you, that's been a big test. One thing you mentioned is, let's not talk about last season. Let's talk about now. Let's talk about now how you do it.
Well, you know, I'm very confident, comfortable, and we celebrate, and we deserve that. And this is the first step you make, so we have to keep it up and keep pitching.
You've gone through this before now as a contributor for a long time with the Angels, but let's talk about the messages sent to you this year to get you stable, later you pitch winter ball. When did it all start for you? When did you say forget last year?
Well, the first time when I get to a spin training, I just say forget last year, and you know, I just wanna be comfortable and pitch and all and do all that, and do my best. That's how it is.
Let's go back to the run.
Josie, what? All right, we're back here. That's just going to get crazier and crazier. By the way, A guy who has been through a number of celebrations for the Angels, including a World Series celebration, is Garrett Anderson. He is still trucking along as good as ever. He's with Michael. Michael and GA.
Hi, G. I mean, I've been talking to so many guys, and the first thing out of their mouth, this never gets old, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I think why it's such a long season, and it doesn't come very easy. You know, it's day in and day out, and we definitely have a team that's done that this year, so we should be very happy where we're at.
Talk about this year's team in particular. You've been a part of some World Series champion teams, some other teams that have won the division, but there are a lot of stars on this team that could be on other teams that be the man. It seems like everyone is meshed, though, this season on this squad.
Yeah, we've meshed real well, and, you know, the biggest thing that everybody knew was going to take all of us to do well, and nobody thought, you know, to be the man around here. Everybody wanted to contribute and do their part, and that's what made our team good this year.
But I also get the sense, in all this jubilation, there's still some seriousness behind those eyes, that there's still some work to be done.
Yeah, we know we have a lot of work to do. You know, there's always a time and place for everything, and, you know, today we have a reason to celebrate, and we definitely still have a lot more work to do.
All right, last question. What's the strategy for celebration? Are you a guy that's in the middle all the time, or do you back up out of the fringe and let the young guys go?
I'm kind of like the stick and move guy.
Oh,
you know, I don't get too wet, but I like to stick and move.
I think I'm gonna follow his advice. I've already been wet. I need to start moving some more, guys.
Oh, that's awesome, Garrett Anderson. Now let's quickly go to the man in front and behind it all, Artie Moreno with Jose.
Artie, congratulations once again. You talk about a good product, start to finish, starts with you. How do you feel about the fans' reaction here today?
Oh, the fans are everything. You know, it starts with everyone, Jose. You know, it's everybody. It's what we try to do is get pastor.
He's just timing me right now, so you speak and don't worry about him.
Okay. Anyways, you know, it's about the fans. I mean, what we always talk about is they're the ones that pay the bills. They come here, support us, and the group we had out here tonight, you know, it's great. But, you know, we're having fun, you know.
Carol, to you too, Mrs. Moreno, it's got to be a special moment to know that you spent so much time watching him grind it through the season, but to celebrate like this, what is the moment for you like?
You know, there aren't really any words. There just aren't any words. It's the best. And I'd like to say thanks to all the fans. We have the best fans. Thank you.
Artie, for you, the challenges are always there, and they came in spring training, they came early, and how did you sort through knowing the leadership and your new general manager, Tony Riggins, to get this done?
Well, you know, Tony's been in our organization for 17 years, and, you know, he's part of the family, and our belief was from day one is that we should build from within, and, you know, we got a lot of games to play, and plus 11, right?
When you look at what's ahead, and we got to balance out best record, things like that, how do you look at it knowing that also health is important and what happened in the past?
Well, you know, years before, you know, we were getting to the playoffs, but we didn't have any depth. And, you know, people criticize us for having too many outfielders, too many pitchers, et cetera, et cetera. And for us, our belief was, look at these guys. Right? We got Lackey, Santana, Saunders, Weaver, Garland. Look at Butch and look at Rivera. Anyways.
You can do a good play-by-play.
Yeah, really. I tell you what, you know, everybody talks about depth, and you never have enough depth because you need a help. We got to, you know, we have 6 of our 7 minor league teams made it to, well, that's a pitching staff right there, right?
Doing a good job. Hey, about Mark Teixeira, and when you looked ahead and said, we can get this guy, they got to get us to the next level. I mean, how important was that for you and for the fans as a message to get a guy like Mark Teixeira?
Well, you know, you have to look at the baseball people because Stoneman, somewhere I know you're out there on a cruise, you know, with your wife, and you've deserved it for a long time, and, you know, he's been part of my guiding light through this, but, you know, last year we tried to get Teixeira and got beat out by Atlanta, and this year when Tony brought it to me and the baseball people, and I just said, you know, is this one of the pieces we need to go forward? And so, you know, I'm more supportive. I'd like to tell you it's my idea, but that's not my idea.
Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much.
I like to take credit, but, you know, I can't.
You have to.
right,
you sign the checks.
Thank you very much.
Artie Moreno with you guys, and thank you, Carol, yourself too. And I'll tell you what, one thing that happens around here is so many players are running around in every different direction. And one that never forgets as to where he came from because he had a fractured leg last year is Juan Rivera. One.
Well, we're waiting for Juan Rivera, perhaps with Jose. Maybe we will go back to the clubhouse. In fact, I guarantee we're going to go back at some point. He's an Artie classic. He's classic. And I'll tell you what, fans, he means it when he thanks all the folks that have come out here, paid their dollars, and supported this team, even if they're at home. The model organization in Major League Baseball.
You know what else is great to watch too? All the guys who are under the scenes, behind the scenes. You know, the head trainer, you know, Rick Smith, or actually Ned Burkett's the head trainer, Rick Smith's the assistant, Adam Neville. Those guys behind the scenes, they help these players get well. They help them heal during the course of the season. It's great to see them celebrate, and the players acknowledge that too, because they're as big a part of it as the players are.
Well, it is time now to hear from Juan Rivera.
Yes.
Here he is. He's back.
Juan, tú has pasado por esto anteriormente. You gone through this before, but your feeling for you didn't play a whole lot earlier in the season, but you always knew you're going to play a lot and contribute in the second half. Tú sabías que iba a ser difícil la primera mitad, firmar unos cuantos jardineros, pero tú sabes que va a contribuir en la segunda mitad. El sentimiento, ¿cómo te sientes ahora? How do you feel now?
Bueno, bien contento. De verdad que la paciencia fue que me ayudó muchísimo y yo esperaba que en cualquier momento iba a llegar mi oportunidad. Y bueno, y gracias a Dios he tenido buenos números este año y esperaré terminar fuerte y tratar de ayudar al equipo.
He says the main thing was to be patient and to understand that he was going to be able to help the team. And he said, right now we just got to help the team wherever I can. Hey, Mike Scioscia, ¿cómo te ayudó él en cuanto a mantener todo relajado para más tarde? How did Mike Scioscia communicate with you earlier in the year to understand that you were going to be able to get some more playing time?
Bueno, él me dio, verdad que...
¡Vamos, gozando! ¡Arriba, que goce!
Dime, aguántate.
¿De qué?
Bueno, verdad que me dio, yo me acuerdo el mismo 2 de julio que yo empecé a jugar más contra los pitchers derechos y me iba a dar más la oportunidad. Y bueno, hasta los momentos lo he hecho y he tratado de contribuir con el equipo y de ayudarlo también.
Gracias, Juan. He talks about what Mike Scioscia actually told him was that he needed to be patient, that he knew his time was going to come to play, and in fact, guys, it did come, and he did a very nice job. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jose. Jose is truly one of the fellas. He travels with these guys, and he's one of them. And as Rex was pointing out to me, Vladdy's entourage. They're everywhere. They're on the field when he was doing the home run hitting contest at the All-Star game. They're in there with him, celebrating.
Too bad Vladdy's mom, Alta Gracia's not in there, man. She provides meals for these guys all the time, man. At home cooked arroz con pollo, you know, the
Say
chicken,
that again?
Arroz con pollo.
That's
the
beautiful.
chicken and rice is beautiful.
Beautiful.
And all those guys in there love it, and it's fun. Alta Gracia, congratulations for having such a great son like Big Daddy Vladdy. But all of these players now, this is the first step. They're going to celebrate tonight, and I'm sure it'll go on to wee hours of the morning, Billy Mack. But they will show up tomorrow, no matter what condition they're in, to attack to try to get the best record in the American League.
All right, he's a Southern Californian through and through. I'm talking about the old dirtbag. That's Jared Weaver. He's with Michael.
What's the best? The champagne, the beer, or the hose out on the outfield?
I mean, I can't. It's all a toss-up. Wow! All I know is this is what feels good. That's all I know. Whoa! What a great feeling this is. You know, we've been sitting back watching this for a minute, thinking about what was going to happen, and now to finally be celebrating is a good feeling, that's for sure. And it's cold.
I was going to say, the feeling is cold. This is cold.
But it's all right. I'll deal with it because I'll be warm tomorrow. I promise. I promise. I promise.
Hey, everybody's been so happy about this, but they're looking ahead to, you know, what's down the road. You guys still have a lot to work on before you get to the playoffs, but it's good to get to this point to accomplish at least one goal you set for yourself.
No, absolutely. This is goal number one, and you know, we still got a lot of work ahead of us. You know, we still got some people. Still got some people that still need to get healthy, and you know, get our stuff back on track. You know, we know we can play much better in the ball club. of as we are right now. It's just a matter of getting it back together and keep it rolling into the postseason.
Is there anyone in here you haven't hit yet with some type of liquid?
Let's do it.
I think that was the worst question I could have ever asked in my professional career. Back to you.
Look at Michael Phelps going at it again. Weaver's completely nuts, and Michael Phelps is going crazy.
Do you think he's worried about his 2-game suspension?
No. Think about that. He'll be sitting tomorrow, too. A lot of these guys will be. You know what? Bill Stoneman should get a whole lot of credit. Bill Stoneman helped build this team as we're watching. That's good stuff. Jose is with the new general manager, Tony Reagans. Jose.
Tony, congratulations for you. It's got to be a special moment, but you too dry, man. What's going on?
Hey, man, this has been fun. The guys are having a good time, and they've worked hard all year, and this is what we're playing for.
What you're playing for is this, but take us through the process of getting to this moment when you dealt with some injuries, personnel decisions when it came down to trades or no trades, and also going with some young players at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really a group effort. Everybody's kind of teamed up together, and you know, our minor league people, our development people have done a tremendous job, and we've been able to call up guys throughout the season, and they've come up and stepped up. Brandon Wood and Sean Rodriguez have done a tremendous job, but overall, the entire team has stepped up, and we're playing decent baseball right now, and we have to pick it up the rest of the way.
Pick it up the rest of the way. You have the right guy in Mike Scioscia, and you have worked with Mike Scioscia. Let's let John enjoy this moment. Tony, you had worked with Mike before during your minor league stays, but what have you learned more from that leader on the field that perhaps you didn't know about before?
Just the total respect for his knowledge of the game and what he's been through as a player and now as a manager. Just really understands the game, understands people, and the players respect him, and that's what's most important. And he cares, and that's huge. Woo!
And the GM should be getting this, believe it. From now on, talk about best record. There's talk about the fact that there's some injuries. And what's the plan from now on as you have some guys that you have to also back up and get some rest for?
Guys are starting to feel better each day. Howie and Ibar are starting to feel better. And we're still trying to win ball games. We're not going to let up at all. And, you know, that's our goal. Best record is a part of our vision, and we got to keep working.
Artie Moreno, and getting his advice and listening to his baseball people like yourself, what does it mean to have an owner like that?
He's awesome. I think what I respect most about Artie is that he loves the game of baseball, and he loves this organization and has been supportive and allowed me to do my job, and that's been important.
You've done a nice job. There's the first step of many more. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Take care.
Let's go back to you, fellas.
Great job by Tony Reagans. He's been a member of this organization for a long, long time and put the finishing touches on this edition, of course, of Angels baseball. I wonder what they're all running to behind him, man. They're all running somewhere.
There's all kinds of action going on, but I remember Tony Reagans when he was an intern with the team when I was playing back in the 90s.
Howie Kendrick, boy, a prize in this organization for many years. He got up here very quickly. The kid can rake, and he's with Michael Eaves.
Hey, guys, I think I may have found the wettest person in here. Like, every time I turn around, someone's pouring something on you, Howie.
Oh, yeah, I've been soaked, you know, but there's no greater feeling than being soaked after we clinch for the playoffs. So hopefully there'll be a few more times where you'll see me drenched here. You know, it's just a good feeling to know that we're headed to the postseason. Hopefully we'll celebrate 2 or 3 more times. So, you know, it's just good to feel.
And it's just the excitement because, I mean, the season is a grind. You get to a point, you've reached one goal, and now it's about getting all the goals.
Oh, yeah, you just want to keep grinding it out. And, you know, this is the ultimate goal, being in the postseason. You know, this is the only way to win a championship. So this is the only way to make it. You can see Torrey here wiping me down. He's got the goggles on. He's been swimming in the champagne. So hopefully we'll continue. Yeah, Michael Phelps. Hopefully we'll be going home with a gold medal like Michael Phelps. Yeah, baby!
Yeah, more gold medals and less beer in the reporters. Send it back outside.
That's a good concept, Michael. Good luck. It's not going to happen right there. Michael Eaves in the trenches. Jose Mota in the trenches. They're having fun. We hope you are too as we continue our live celebration of the Angels clinching the American League West faster than anyone as we welcome you back now to the Rock Pile. Let's hear from the fans who have still stayed with us out here. A lot of Angels loyalists. Some of the fans still there by by the dugout, of course. They're enjoying it. And look at that, as the party continues.
Put your clothes on, come on. No, it's all good. That's Orlando Mercado, the bullpen coach of the Angels.
The Big O loves the camera, though, doesn't
Yes,
he?
he
The Big O
does.
loves the camera.
He sure
He can
does.
dance, too, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but you know what? They're all having a good time, and they should, because it's a long season, Billy Mack. These guys grinded for this moment. They all earned it. They'll understand the dynamics of this. They got a couple weeks left in the regular season, and then they'll want to go ahead and pursue and celebrate again.
You know, there is some genuine chemistry with this bunch of guys. You know, tell me about that a little bit. You travel with these guys
hey, there's no
all
question.
year.
Hey, Billy Mack, my hat
By
here.
the way,
this
you have your
beautiful-
hat here.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Division Champions 08 hat, courtesy of Donna Soria from Corona. She said, hey, you got to have one on there. You got to have your hat. So, Donna, thank you. But still, the fact is, Billy Mack,
she's going nuts.
I know, we ought to
Like
have her
your
out here,
Elvis.
man. It's so fun.
Like your Elvis.
Billy Mack, but it's all good about this opportunity here that the Angels have to continue to play baseball, but still, they clinched it so early this September that they're going to have some more time, Mike Sochi is, to be able to rest the guys that need it. Remember, they are gunning for best record in the American League, and Mike Sochi, he believes that. He wants that. But not at the expense of taxing the players and having them worn out. They want to be going on full cylinders. By the time they hit whoever, it's going to be good.
And by the way, in the coming week or two, you're going to be able to get a chance to buy these things. Rex and I are going to be help selling.
Oh, yeah. T-shirts, hats, these things are cool, too, man.
And everything.
Really like it. Hey, thanks, Don. Appreciate the hat, man.
Oh, God, she's
I'll
passed
get it back
out.
to you.
She's absolutely passed out. How about a couple of Jose's moto with Arredondo? Jose.
Well, you guys talk about opportunities, and one guy that who knew he was going to be here around, Jose Arredondo. Jose, congratulations. As you get your first taste of this whole thing, talk about it.
That's great. This is everything happened ever in my life. That's like the best thing you can make it to the big league and win the division championship. So, and we hopefully get like really far away and get it to the World Series.
The confidence that you showed right away when they put you out there to pitch, and you're going through a tough time last year. How much did last year help you getting through that to get to the big leagues and contribute right away?
That's great. Last year I got like a little bit of trouble, like suspension and stuff. I go back to Dominica and play winning ball. And this year I feel like better, strong, and mentally the best time ever.
And you've been so important for Francisco Rodriguez or Scott Shields, but who is the one guy that you said helped you the most here in the big leagues?
I got Francisco Rodriguez help me like inside the game, like outside too. It's like great guy.
¿Qué le quiere decir a los latinos? A los latinos, ¿qué le quiere decir?
A los latinos, vamos arriba, coño, que nosotros representamos esta vaina, vamos.
Felicidades, gracias.
Okay.
Message for the Latinos too is we gotta find Eric Ibar. Don't tell you about Ibar. Where is he? Guys, let's go back to the Rocks when we get more.
Thank you, Jose, as he is on his search for more Angels. Right now, it's Michael Lees with Big John Rocky.
All right, guys, I thought this was going to be a good strategic spot, but we may be setting ourselves up here. I think we're a little too close to the artillery.
You son of a...
See, I thought we were in a good spot, John, but I think we set each other up.
Too much love in here. A lot of people crushing each other.
You seem like the ringleader, though. Every time I turn around, you're hitting somebody.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not in the middle of anything. I'm a good kid.
Yeah. John, you said it felt like being a kid, and it looks like you're having a time like you are a kid. This is what baseball's all about. We talk about the money and the pressure, but this is a fun game, and guys are supposed to have fun.
Oh, forget all that, man. That's secondary. This is what it's all about. It's all about, having good teammates and winning baseball games. It's smart.
John, you've been a part of this clubhouse for a long time. You've seen a lot of good teams, a lot of good players. I was talking to Mickey Hatcher earlier. I think from a personality-wise, you guys probably get along individually as any team I've probably seen in Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. I think we got a great clubhouse vibe. I would liken it a lot to the 02 team with probably a little bit more talent. So, we'll see what happens in October. A lot of things can happen then, but if we play up to our expectations, I think we like our chances.
All right, so now we scan the room. They just all ganged you.
Yeah,
you owe somebody.
Oh, believe that. Somebody's going down.
And I think they're in trouble, guys. Send it back out to you.
I'll tell you what, when you're a member of the media, you're having some fun too. John Lackey, the horse of the rotation. By the way, if you come out here to us here in the Rocks right now, Rex Hudler we've already had our champagne bath. We're here, we're ready to go. So it's time to go get the fans, Rex.
We got to give them one.
Come on. As HUD meets and greets, let's go back to Jose in the clubhouse. Jose.
Thanks, guys. Well, Howie, you've gone through this before in a short way, but not being able to play is going to be a little frustrating, but overall, you see these guys celebrating. It's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, yeah, definitely a great feeling. You know, I wish I was out on the field with these guys, you know, playing the game, but right now I'm not. But the biggest thing is we're in the playoffs this year. There's no greater feeling than that. Me and my amigo here, Ibar, he definitely knows what this feeling's like. Going through it last year, you know, we're just trying to have fun, and hopefully we'll be doing this a few more times.
And for you, Eric, you get the opportunity as you get drenched by the cerveza. Hey, talk about the fact that you were a big part of this with Master Studies. Háblame de eso, de la contribución tuya con Master Studies.
Well, you know, that's the yeah. I'm be here, the first bikinis, myself be here right now, so I'm working hard. Every day be here is like, you know, working hard every day in the cage, taking my ground board, and, you know, be comfortable. When I be ready for play, I'll be here for everything.
How close are you to playing?
I think soon, maybe like 2-3 more days, I'll be ready for play.
Good luck. Well, let's go to Michael Leaf, anybody with Mike Napoli.
Hi guys, it is my job to tell the absolute truth. Anytime I have a microphone and I'm reporting for this network, he is the ringleader of everyone who's getting doused. Nap, like you got it all hooked up, man.
Hey, you know what? We like to have fun, you know how it is. It's been a fun year.
I forgot to tell you, I'm the kiss of death. Every time I get someone, they get killed.
Oh, I hear you. I like it though, man. It's a fun time, you know. We work hard for this, and you know, it's been a great year. We got a great clubhouse, great group of guys, and you know, we're not done yet. We got bigger fish to fry, and you know, we're gonna get after it.
You know, it's easy to have fun at a moment like this. You win a division championship, but it seems like it's not just about people having fun. You guys are really enjoying partying with one another.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, man, we're a great group here, and you know, we have fun in the clubhouse, you know, and then when it's time to play, we get after it and have a good time on the field and love to win. So, I mean, we got a great group of guys here, and you know, we got the right people here to get it done.
Well, I hope you're at least managing to drink some of it instead of spilling it everywhere, because you deserve to celebrate, Mike. Appreciate the time.
All right, thanks.
All right, Mike Napoli, guys.
All right, you see the live scene down there. Thank you, Michael Leaves and Jose Mota doing a great job, as well as our cameraman and crews down there. It's not easy. This celebration is going to go deep into the night. And of course, we got a ball game tomorrow to play too. We're going to be right here, pregame, postgame, the next night. So you fans come out. It's not too late to celebrate. If you were not here, these lucky fans were here to have some fun. But come show your appreciation in the next couple of days. There's still plenty of home games before the playoffs. All right, Jose Mota. There's Shieldsy. Go ahead, Jose.
Shieldsy, opportunity to do it again, get it done on the field at home, but it was a little different because you guys had to win in the clubhouse. Describe that.
You know what? It was actually fun. You know, everybody stuck around. You know, everybody was, you know, we were rooting like heck for the Mariners, and you know, it worked out for us. And you know, for the fans, it wasn't as nice to celebrate on the field, but I think us going out and you know, saying thank you to the fans. You know, pretty much I think the whole team went out and said thanks, you know, for the fans sticking around and supporting us, and it feels good right now. This feels really good right now.
I bet it does. Talk about the just the tenacity of this ball club. You know, the news in spring training, Escobar Lackey, the fact that it's been up and down here, you know, for a lot of guys personally, but for you, as you see kids growing up, describe how they have grown up in your eyes.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, the first big news, like you said, was Escobar and Lackey going down, you know, and but you get guys, you know, the two guys that filled in for him were all-stars, so it was amazing, you know. One of the guys right here, the way he's been pitching, he has been unbelievable, and you know, it's been fun, you know, and losing a guy like Kochman, but gaining a guy like Teixeira and watching him, you know, celebrate today, it was.
Scott Shields, again, he says right before that this doesn't get old, guys, and many guys are keeping the perspective also that the fact that this is one step and there's many more to go, guys. By the way, nice job over there. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jose, have some fun down there now that you don't have to work anymore. I know you have a lot of great friends down there in the clubhouse. The Angels once again clinch the American League West Division title here today. They win, take care of business, and then Seattle beats Texas.
Hey, but Billy Mack,
up in Seattle.
wait,
Yes,
wait,
sir.
wait. Let's not forget what it's all about. It's about the people, the fans of Angel Stadium. And you, Billy Mack, that's right. Woohoo, Billy Mack, yeah! That's Billy Mack, yeah! Salute to you, Angel fans. Thank you so much for coming out. And don't forget, we've got plenty more action for you this summer. Come on out to the ballpark and Billy Mack can dry off.
Oh, Hud, we've worked together a long time. Thank you for that. All right, we got a ball game tomorrow, and once again, the Angels are going to continue to drive for the best record in the American League, hoping to get home field for the first couple of rounds before the World Series when whoever represents the American League would get it. But today is a chance to celebrate in the clubhouse, on the field, in the stands, wherever you are at home.
And on the rock pile.
If you are an Angel fan, revel in it tonight, tomorrow, the next night. Show your Angel colors, show your Angels red. The Angels get a chance to celebrate. We're going to go dry off. We're going to have some fun. And we'll see you tomorrow for the pregame show. Bright and early at 6:30 tomorrow night. We'll be here for another edition of Angels Live. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Angels, the 2008 Western Division champions. We'll see you tomorrow.